Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is March the 14th, 2024 on the ancient moon calendar, 2024 on the ancient sun calendar, and 2024 on the Greco-Roman civic calendar. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity and in alignment and accordance with the ancient Noahide laws as stated by this Holy Congress. This is a sovereign living ancient Article 3 Moorish American Al-Moroccan Universal Court action. We are the divine sovereign living justices and Ego Sum, Pauline Denise Ritchie. My free chosen sovereign appellation is Light Tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminution nolo. In red ink, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. We are capit et corpus juris legalis, which is our statement that we are the lawful and legal natural head and body for our empire. All Moors are the divine, original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, Israelites, Hamathites, Cushites, and Hittites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our honor, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient empire state for Morocco. We are the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are ancient Washington District for Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate and the Earth-wide Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. Today, we are demonstrating and being the law by our sovereign status, which is the original indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient Article 3 living United States District for Columbia Court, and we are the sovereign fiduciaries, original creditors, executors, trustees, divine ministers, possessors, grantors, grantors, and title trustors for all causes for action. We are peace, we are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves and accept our sovereign divine ascension. We do possess in our custody all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. We, the true living God nation, are not at war. We are not at war. We are not at war. And we exercise and demonstrate all eternal, ancient, original sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, nunc pro tunc. The principles that we share along with our sovereign, powerful demonstrations and study are stare decisis, res judicata, an ancient positive supreme law for the land long established in sovereign order. Erudite principles and processes for daily practical application to intelligently govern our vast estate every day is what our ancient ancestors have given us to share with the ancient sovereign nations, tribes, clans, states, and governments at Earth. And for this, we are grateful. So one of the first things that we want to point out, we had given an order for the actors to go ahead and sunset. And sunset, we know, is a process. It happens, gradually. And because we are the ones who hired them in the first place, and really we did not hire them. They are subject to us, as it were, as always. And we did give the command for them to go ahead and sunset. So we will to show you how that's going. So we are updating the Congress who gave the command that the sunsetting is indeed happening as commanded by this great and powerful almighty Congress. So there is, let me share my screen so that we can see. We voted as a Congress should, and then we placed our commands on the public record. So with that being stated, hopefully you all can see. There is a link, and we'll just take a quick look at that link really quickly. And I'll place the link in the chat as well. Let me do let's see here. I'll place the link in the chat. There's some part of our marketing department pretending to be me. They attend so often, we went ahead and just said, okay, y'all can be there. Okay, so the most recent link is the one that I put in there. Let's go ahead and look at that really quickly. And we'll go ahead and lock the meeting as well. If anyone wills to come in terms of the Moors, just let us know. So let's take a quick look at this listing here. Again, we're simply just showing that the actors have done as commanded. So the following are, and again, this is a bunch of actors. That's why it doesn't even, you know, this seal is not a real seal. This is actors. This is a script. Cities that have defunded the police, quote unquote. Austin, Texas, Baltimore, Maryland, Boston, MA. Let me say it that way because it's not the real states. These are the two-letter states, which is a script. Burlington, VT, Columbus, O, Denver, Eureka, Hartford, Los Angeles, Madison, Minneapolis, New York, Norman, Oakland, Oklahoma City, Philadelphia, Portland, Salt Lake City, San Francisco, Seattle, yay, Steamboat Springs, and Washington, D.C. And then others that are in the process of doing the same thing. And again, sunsetting is a process, just like everything else. Chicago, Illinois, Chicago, Ithaca, NY, Kansas City, KS, New Orleans, LA. So these are just the subjects letting us know that they have done exactly as we have commanded for them to do regarding the actors. And again, these, just one moment, let me put that out again. I'll put you out again. Here, I'm going to put you out again. There. So, we know that, again, we've always stated this to this Holy Congress. We've always noted that any laws that we put on the public record, our word is the law. Okay, our word is the law. And there will always be follow-up evidence that our word is the law. So again, we voted on sunsetting the actors. We voted on the activities stopping. And as you can see, this Congress has once again successfully demonstrated our power and authority. So with that being stated, are there any questions, comments, wisdom? If there's any Congress members who will to either ask or provide wisdom at all.
You also voted on a moratorium on eviction.
Go ahead, Congress members. Islam. So again,
your moratorium on eviction.
Many things will continue to sunset. We know that. And at some point, we are going to let the court jesters speak a little bit, because we can respond to any of that. And it's really not a response.
None of it's because
it's really not a response. This is our courtroom, and we do allow for there to be, some words by those who attend court at our command. With that being stated, the court will be handled in order. Islam, Empress. Islam.
Yes, at New York Territory, there was an article concerning the NYPD, and the word Exodus was in the title of the article. I'm searching for it now. I don't know if I saved it or sent it somewhere, but it was very interesting that it was talking about how protection and calling for Exodus.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad that you, and thank you for that affirmation of what we're stating.
Yes, indeed. They also stated that people are quitting and retiring, yes, and so on and so forth, but we all know why.
Yes. We have stated thusly. So when this Congress puts laws and rules on the public record, when we vote, and that's really most important, that's really what election is all about, is that the elect make their voices heard. And when we do what we're doing, we're going to continue to put the information out there that states and shows and demonstrates that we have the power and authority to do all that we're doing. This would not have happened had we not spoken.
None of that has actually happened.
So again, it would not happen if we hadn't put it on the record, because they weren't going to defund themselves. They were busy giving themselves quote unquote pay raises and things for acting.
Islam, can you allow Amazite back in, please?
Islam.
Thank you, sis.
Islam. It's unlocked, Empress, so that he can come back in. So with that being stated, again, this is icing on the cake. And just know that everything that we're doing is a process. We must be patient with the processes and keep moving. That's really the point of showing this. Let's move on, because we have to move quickly, because we have a lot. Islam, nobility. Islam. So let's move on really quickly, because we have quite a bit to cover today.
Yes, that shit didn't really happen.
The one that you just heard speak. Oh, he put himself out, I guess. Words for the year. Your court jesters, the ones that say things like what you just heard, they have been so faithful to attend every meeting. For years they've been attending meetings. For years they've been attending. And so we have decided that they are our marketing team, part of our marketing team. We're going to use them. Your haters are your marketing team. Your critics are your media ministry.
Remember how you commanded us to go away? You commanded that we should go away in September. Why didn't that happen, Pauline? We're still here. What happened? Your commands didn't work. Come on, Pauline.
Let me show you very quickly. Let me show you very quickly what go away looks like. That's what go away looks like. So yes, you go away when we say you go away. Okay? So let's just make that clear. Now, you can come back in. You're hired. You're the marketing team because they make so many videos.
The ancestors kept telling you September.
So many videos.
September.
You will be quiet while we're speaking. They have been so faithful. They've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos about us out there. They're putting more information out there about us so quickly. Those that have been doing on this Congress that have been doing court actions and things, they've made videos about other Congress members and things of that nature. So we've hired them as the media and marketing, and they can keep on doing that. Okay, so we're going to just make good use of them. Listen, they are putting out videos about us without even charging us to do so. So we will use that to our advantage. And not only that, your haters and critics and court jesters never focus on losers. Keep that in mind. They never focus on losers. They always focus on the winners. These are not titles for them. They are brands. So we hereby brand our property as court jesters and critics. And we spell haters a different way, Hayter, because hay is an animal husbandry term, and that's what we're dealing with, okay? And, you know, we're not really dealing with them. We've put them in subject status. They can't speak unless we let them speak. And when we mute them, they have to go. So, again, these are not titles. Quiet. These are not titles. They are brands. We hereby brand our property, Islam. So let's move forward. Something I willed to show you all. Initially, when the actor that was acting as Biden did a quote-unquote State of the Union enactment, initially I wasn't going to watch it, but as usual, the ancestors kept putting it up in my feed so that I would look at it. And sure enough, when I looked at the State of the Union enactment, and I'll put the link to the one that I looked at, and it's right at the mark that we're referring to. There was a point in the State of the Union enactment that was done. I just put the link in the chat to the one that I watched. There was a Moorish matriarch, and there was one of the hybrid modern European women who were sitting next to each other at this thing. They were both introduced and their stories were told. And the story was that the Moorish matriarch wanted to have a baby, she and her husband. And so they enacted in vitro fertilization, or IVF as it were, and they had a baby girl. They wanted to have another baby, and that program that gave them, supposedly gave them the first baby, shut down so that they could not have a second baby. The modern one, she was going to have a baby, but the quote-unquote doctors told her that her baby was going to be diseased, deformed, diseased. And so she wanted to have an abortion. So she wanted to abort her baby. The Moorish matriarch was having babies. To me, that was a symbol, a message. It was symbolic. And the modern one did have an abortion. She went somewhere else and had an abortion. First and foremost, we've never had problems having children. Never. We've always, and that will always be. We will always be able to have many, many, many children. My mother had 10 babies, just back to back to back, and she worked full time the whole time. And so, you know, I just found that to be interesting about what that was really saying. That even that system, the enactment system, was saying that the Moorish matriarch should have a baby, and that the modern one should not. Now we don't.
Thank God your daughter's a lesbian.
We don't condone killing in any form or fashion. Only God has the authority to do that. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. So with that being stated, I just will to point that out because I found it to be a remarkable presentment. Now, with regard to being birthed into this dimension, we're going now to word magic and the things that we say about us, things that we state. We are the gods who created flesh for ourselves. We're still gods. We're just God in the flesh. Those among us who use the following words are encouraged to end the demonstration of throwing themselves under the bus or under anything, because we hear this quite a bit. And we're encouraging all Moors to don't get lazy about your language. Focus on it so that you can stop casting spells on yourself that do not serve you well.
Well, why do you still?
For example, under the treaty, under the temple, under the grand whatever, grand sheik, grand governor, grand this, grand that, whatever the title is. We are not under anyone or anything. We're not under the Constitution. We're not under the law. We are the law. We're not under a treaty. We are the treaty. We're not under the temple. We are the temple. We're not under a president. We are the president. We're not under any grand sheik or anything or anyone. We are all the grand sheiks, all of us. We're not under the weather because we can't be under the weather. We created it. We're not under any of that. So the word under is really the word undo in common speak, not common speak, illiterate speak, or minor speak, or baby talk. Baby talk, under. So everyone is encouraged to do away. Please end the demonstration of that, because the moment you say it, the next time we hear you'll be under something else. Don't do that. It will, and you'll be complaining because some whatever you claim to be under is putting pressure on you. So don't do that to yourself. Do not say that you're under anything or anyone. No one is under us. We are all one. The only thing that's under us is all land, all natural resources, and all commerce, all property. The subjects, and they prefer our protection, and so on and so forth. But as the original indigenous ancient people, we're all one. So we willed to make that clear. Words are the gateway to the mind, and the mind is the authority and the power. This, what we state determines authority and power. So the mind determines our authority and power. The words are the gateway to the mind. In other words, you know what someone's thinking by what they say. Okay? If people are constantly making statements, and then when we say you really should not say that, well, you know what I mean. Okay, just what I'm just saying, and they do that repeatedly. It's like, okay, now we know why you're having the pushback and the resistance that you're getting. It's because of the words that you send out in front of you. Because that's what we do. We send our word before us, and the word will either clear the way or do as we state. And, if we say we're under something, they say, okay, our words go before us and put something there for us to be under. That's why we don't say that. So our words are very important. We cannot be lazy about them. We can't just discard them and say, oh, I said that, but you know what I mean. No, you must state what you mean. Likewise, the eyes are the window to the soul. Our words are the gateway to the mind, which is authority and power, and the eyes are the window to the soul. What we choose to consume with our eyes determines the state of our soul. So here's the connection. We can all see the same thing, but everyone's going to have possibly. We're so much better about that. I can't even say that our perception and our perspective would be different, because it's proving that we're seeing the same things nowadays, which is great, because all we see is victory and prosperity, wealth, abundance, and all of that. And if we see something, and this is the magic of our words, if we see something that does not look successful and abundant and peaceful and powerful, then we call it that. We speak those things that are not as though they were, and they will be. We always state, we can state it in Latin or Turkish or whatever. In Turkish, Oldin ma'odran, Yunalibmizit ivangadoldran. That's when we intend a thing, our command is be, and it is. And then our eyes will see what our words have created. Seeing is not the same as believing or knowing. When we see something, that's information. What you see is just information. What we choose to do with that information is the key. We can see someone that looks like that's wearing the costume of authority, but very quickly our words can dismantle that. Very quickly, we've done it many times before. That's why we state that the hardest part is over. That was the hardest part, seemingly, for us. But all we did was continue to speak, continue to navigate that, continue to call it what it really is, continue to do court actions 10 days in a row, continue to cast the spells. And sure enough, just like we just showed you, our words, especially together, and that's why this Congress, staying together with all that we do, is so important. We move as one. Us doing that, we cannot be stopped. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess. When we stay together and speak. Islam. We've been talking about systems, banking systems, and spiritual systems, and court systems, and things of that nature. Did you know that social media is a system also? YouTube is a system. Some of you this week might have seen your YouTube change and morph a little bit. So here's the thing. All are encouraged to leverage the tools of the system so that you can gain from it rather than being the passive product of the system. What do I mean by that? If you're just looking at social media and you're not using it to govern your estate, then you are a product for that system. They're counting you as views and as so on and so forth, you see. If you're not using social media to grow the empire, then social media converts you into an algorithm to grow the system, to grow the views and things of that nature. If you are simply on social media to consume the content of the system, then you are the product. All are encouraged to put at least one video on social media reading your nationality and judicial proclamation affidavits on your channel. That's an encouragement. We can't tell sovereigns what to do, but we sure can highly suggest some things. And we use our platform to highly suggest that we continue moving as one. We are one. So when they see your statements, they're going to see all the other statements out there and say, oh, there's more Moors, there's more Moors. They're the government, they're the law, they're the ones that are telling those actors that are acting as police to stop acting. And it's actually happening. Here's the thing, there was even with that, there was a fear script that was attempted to be put out there about defunding actors that were acting as police. But here's the thing, when we defund actors, we're defunding all actors. That means criminals too. So we're not worried about being overrun by criminals and things of that nature. We're not worried about that, because those are actors too. They're going to stop acting that out. Peace has arrived. We're here, Islam. So yes, we are. With that being stated, this past week, on Monday actually, before we had our Congress, our meeting on Monday, I went and did a fiduciary money demonstration. And it worked very, very well. Let me tell you how it worked. So we are more scientists. What does that mean? Scientists go into the laboratory and we do something. We put an experiment together, and then we demonstrate that experiment, and then we log our results, and then we say, okay, this was done, this is what happened. The next time we do that demonstration, we're going to do it this way or that way. Okay. So, and I'm so excited to tell you what happened, because I know that my results, some of you have had the same types of results and had the same feelings about your results until we realize what's really happening. So when I went into the grocery store, I took my fiduciary money with me. I picked out a few things and I went up to the self-serve, the self-checkout. I rang up everything. I put the fiduciary money in and it came back out. I put it in 2 more times and it came back out 2 more times. So I left the groceries there and I went back to my domicile. And as I was leaving out of the store, all kinds of emotions and things came over me, all kinds of emotions. And I went home with all of those emotions. So then I said, okay, I have to clear these emotions, because they were not good emotions. And the ancestor said, okay, you're having those emotions. We'll speak to you right after you clear them. So I cleared my emotions, and the ancestors said to us, you really don't see what just happened, do you? I said, I thought I did. They said, pay close attention to what we're about to tell you. Just one moment.
Islam, may I guess?
Yes.
Okay. So what I think happened was, because if somebody puts in a fraudulent bill in the past enactment, the system would notify the so-called actors in the office of, manager or supervisor that somebody is putting in fraudulent money, fake money. So that didn't happen to you. So that meant the system responded to your resource and just kicked it out like it was too wrinkled or whatever, like keep trying again. So no policy enforcers was called, no management came over to you and said, excuse me, ma'am, we'd like to take you in our office and have a conversation with you. We think that you're using fraudulent money like they do in the enactment of casinos and stuff, like, that whole system of that enactment. So that did happen from what I just heard you say. Islam.
Bravo, Empress. Bravo, bravo. You know our ancestors very well. You know them very well. The ancestors stated
hey,
to
Angel,
us
aren't you supposed to be living on 130?
That was a test to see if we would do the demonstration fearlessly. That is a demonstration that we would not have dared to try when we were asleep. We wouldn't have dared to try that when we were asleep. I don't care how hungry we would have been in our sleep, we would have never done that. Never done that. The ancestors told us that. The ancestors told us. They said, do you see how fearless you've become? Not only that, do you also see that when you do as commanded, no one's going to stop you. No one's going to stop you. No one's going to stop you. You didn't steal anything. The stuff already belongs to us. It's already ours. We know that. We are putting our system in place, so we have to run tests on our processes. We have to run tests on our processes.
How come everybody's not telling about all the groceries they got?
All of that.
Where's
Listen,
all the groceries?
all of that. Ooh, all that noise. That's the marketing team. They're going out to market for us. So,
let's hear about all the shit you guys bought with Pauline's phony money.
Go make a video. So just the fearlessness alone was enough for me to the gratitude was overwhelming, because I walked in and walked out it was amazing. To me, that was amazing. We did proper notification. So we notified that we would be doing that we would be putting fiduciary money into the system. It's our system. We notified ahead of time, like our ancestors said to do. Then we did the test. We ran it through.
And you walked out with nothing.
Nothing at all. Fearlessly. And I know that is the answer to the very first question that I asked our ancestors when I first woke up is, how do we get past fake policy enforcers, fake courts, and all of that detainment, quote unquote, stuff? How do we get past that? And they showed us how to get past that, and all the whole while they were building up our fearlessness, our ability to demonstrate, no matter what, demonstrate, give proper notification, and then demonstrate. give proper notification, and then do it again. Give proper notification, and then do it again, because it's going to work. It's only a matter of time. Think about this. We've had many, many, many Moors who at one time they were having problems with just something as basic as Moorish ID in the past. And now that is not an issue. We're hearing report after testament after testimony that their IDs work for whatever it is that they are willing to do. So with that being stated, it's only a matter of time for everything that we're doing. All we're doing is running things through our system. We ran the payment through our banking system and it worked. We ran the fiduciary money through the system. It worked. It did what it was supposed to do, which is go through the system and us be safe in the process and protected in the process. And even on my way out, they were trying to give me the groceries. They were saying, ma'am, do you want these? Do you want these? And I just kept walking because I was thinking, okay, I did the demonstration now, and I was trying to hurry and get to speak to the ancestors. And I didn't walk fast. I just walked out like, okay, let me go see what we have to improve on this demonstration. And the ancestors said, you already did the demonstration. It's already done. You were fearless. So now they even showed us where to go next on this demonstration. Now, that is not a demonstration outcome that says no one else do the demonstration of fiduciary money, because what you're doing is you're waking up the algorithm in the system to what is yours. That's not the last time we're going to do that demonstration. We're going to do it again. We're going to send further instruction, further commands. So, we're going to continue doing the demonstration. We already know that the system will take it in and then put it back out, take it in, put it back out. We know that. We're just going to continue demonstrating because we're scientists. We're going to find the answer. And the answer we know is not fiat. So we're not going to take fiat. We're not going to ever go back to that. We're always going to continue testing our own instruments. It's only a matter of time. We proved that the instruments work with banking. We proved that already. Just one moment. So there are some who are short-sighted, and they'll shut everything down with one demonstration like that didn't go the way they felt like it should go, not knowing that that's not what scientists do. That's not what scientists do. Scientists keep going. We keep demonstrating. The system is not going to bite us for demonstrating. That's our job. That's our responsibility. We have future generations that are banking on us demonstrating and successfully doing so. So, we're not trying to make ours be fiat. We're waking up the ancient system that says that fiat is not even real and that whatever we put out there is real. And here's the thing, the reason that we notify our corporate office of what the subjects in our corporate office of what we're doing is, think about this. We notify them that we're going to be doing this demonstration. They already know where we are because of where the notice came from. So then they just watch the system, and when our stuff comes in, they say, okay, this must be what she's talking about. Let's fix the system so that it will recognize what she said, because that's what it's supposed to be. And really, it's not them fixing the system, it's automated. So the system, once you do it 3 times, you put it in there 3 times. Just put it in there. If it comes out, put it in there again. If it comes out one more time, that's a spell. Yes, you put a spell on the system. You've already notified the corporate office, which is our corporate office. We're the home office because this is our homeland. And then we notify the corporate office system, and then the system makes its adjustment. We got a notice from, and it didn't come to us, it came to my heiress from United Services Automobile Association. And do you know that they are now spelling out everything on the address, just like we said? They're spelling out everything on the address. And then at the bottom of the notice, they put USAA means United Service Automobile Association. Just like we did when we sent our information there. We are programming the system. We know that for sure. So with that being stated, are there any questions, comments, wisdom? We're so grateful for that demonstration.
Islam, yes.
Islam, Empress.
One more quick thing. There was another article in the, news, whatever, that somebody went to an ATM machine and they asked for, 100 of whatever they asked for, and they got a $20 from 1950 something, and they was very surprised, talking about they asked for 100 and they got value 80 because they felt like they couldn't spend the 20 that was so old, because there was like, nobody will take this and this, that, and third. And I'm thinking like, well, to me, I saw that as, it is something that you can use because it's old, and old doesn't mean it's outdated. So they're circling back, as far as I'm concerned, the things, because they're letting you know that the fiat that you used to is no longer, is not even going to be there no more. So look out for the things that you're not used to now. That is what you're going to be using. That's how I interpreted that.
Yes. You know what that is really saying is whoever got that did not know what they had. They didn't know what they had, and they better keep it, because it's actually going to buy them a whole lot more than that fiat. Because when you go back like that, it's going to also go back to the value. So back in the 1940s or 1920s, a $20 bill, you could go a whole 3 months on that with whatever it is, bread. If you're just getting basic things, bread, eggs, and whatever, and butter, you can get 3 months worth of bread, eggs, and butter for $20. Minimum 3 months worth for $20. 20 real dollars, not 20 fake ones. And that is why we're going to continue. Because see, every time we make a move, quantum entanglement says that something like that is going to happen with the money that is looking just like what we did. We expected to hear something just like that. It's unlocked for Empress Shasha, Justice Howard, and Empress Donna. So we expected to hear that. The more of us that do that demonstration, just demonstrate it, the more of us that do that demonstration, the more you're going to see the right money come into circulation. It's called quantum entanglement. Look up that in physics. Quantum entanglement says that when we do one demonstration over here that we might think is small, see, I know it's huge. We know it's huge, but some may not look at it that way, that it's going to affect everything out there that resembles what or is part of what we're doing. Listen, it's only a matter of time before fiduciary money is everything, and Moorish sovereign delarium comes right after that. I was just amazed, too, at how unafraid I was when I did the demonstration. That, to me, was enough for me to just be encouraged and just know that everything is good. I was so unafraid. I had no fear. I was like, well, let me just demonstrate and see. And to me,
then why don't you go back to Mercedes
that
up Tacoma, bitch?
That was the best part of the demonstration. That was the best part of the demonstration to me, was just not being afraid. I mean, you all just, I'm telling you, I've spent some time being afraid initially, you know, in 2017, 2018, you know, I've had moments of being really afraid. But that didn't stop me. It couldn't stop me. It couldn't, because we had things to do. We had goals to meet. We had, you know, we were called to do this. So, you know,
Harvey Bay doesn't even accept delirium.
Those things. Wait a minute, I'm the only one supposed to be talking right now. So, you know, the fear was just, it was not there at all, which was a surprise to me.
All this, and you still don't have a cell phone?
Very surprising, but a beautiful surprise at that. So I had to, that thought alone calmed all of that emotion down for me. That alone.
Where's all these successful demonstrators?
So with that being stated,
how come?
Thank you, IT department, Information Technology Department. They are on it today. So with that being stated, there is something that we're going to be discussing regarding blocked accounts that one of our brothers put out on social media. We'll have you to study it first, and then we'll talk about it and then demonstrate it. Because again, we know that all accounts are ours. We know that. The system is ours. But we have to demonstrate authority over the system repeatedly. We're having to demonstrate. That's because in banking, that's all the bank managers do, is spend their whole day demonstrating authority over the system. That's what they do. They sit and just demonstrate, or stand and just demonstrate in our case. So we would like, before we talk about this, because we'll discuss this in an upcoming Congress, because it's a demonstration that we will all do regarding blocked accounts. So this is let's see.
Not even Dr. G accepts delirium. Why doesn't anybody accept delirium?
Boy, they know what it is, don't they? Yes, indeed, in the chat, this is what courage is all about. Courage is taking action despite a small, medium, or large medium fear or apprehension. Moving ahead is what we do best. Yes. That is what this is all about. Let me pull up note 3, subsection 582.201. This is CFR. This is the CFR, the Code for Federal Regulation. And we spell ours a little bit differently. It is the Code for Federal Regulations for us. But let's pull up this one, 582.201.
Harvey Bay doesn't accept.
Oh, you getting shut down faster than I can even put you out. 582.201. Let's just take a look. It's this one. 31 CFR 582.301. So if you would, we're not going to talk about this right now. We are going to talk about it in the future. We are going to be doing a demonstration. This person should be reconsider of the status of the person. It's restated. We're going to do a document, and in reality, if the Congress, if each one or several Congress members, whoever is willing to do so, would craft a one-page affidavit regarding this based on personam jurisdiction to show to the Congress, and that we can look at and review and put out as a template, so that we can begin accessing our legacy accounts. And again, we must know how to do this because we're the bank. We are the bank. And we're speaking to the banking system. We're speaking to a system because, again, all of this is systems. All of it. We're not, that's why we don't have to be mad at faces and persons. You know, we don't have to be mad at persons and people because it's about a system. And so the terms blocked account and blocked property shall mean any account or property subject to the prohibitions of 582.201. And look at this, held in the name of a person. That means jurisdiction. Is it the living persons that we govern, that we're the fiduciaries for? Yes. And no one has the authority to block accounts in that person's name. I'm the fiduciary for Pauline Denise Ritchie, so I'm the only one who can block or unblock an account. And again, that is the bank's duty. The bank must know how to do that, block and unblock.
Harvey Bay rejected.
Here's the thing. So, and this is with respect to payments, transfers, exportations, withdrawals, or other dealings may not be made or affected except pursuant to a license or other authorization from Office of Foreign Asset Control expressly authorizing such action. The good thing about this is that the Treasury, the Office for Foreign Asset Control is under the authority of the Treasury, which we are the Treasury also. So the Treasury is actually going to issue an affidavit to unblock all legacy accounts. Unblock all, because see, when we went to sleep, we blocked our legacy account. And now that we're awake, we are unblocking our legacy account. Okay. So, and again, that's something that we did. We went to our system and put the paperwork in that said block our legacy account until we wake back up. That is how we know nobody touched our accounts, nobody touched our estate, nobody did any of that. Those were all actors acting like they were digging up gold and digging up diamonds and doing banking and things like that. They never touched our stuff. They never touched our vast estate. We blocked our account. We did that, not them. They don't have the authority to do any of that. So, and all we're doing is unblocking. And think about this. Think about the word block, because it doesn't mean what we thought it meant. See, block and access those two words don't mean what we were told or trained that they meant. That is why a blockchain is called a blockchain. A blockchain, think about that, those two words being put together and people trying to bank on them. It's impossible to bank on a blockchain. It's impossible because of those two words, because of what those words mean. A block is a group. It's a group. It can be a nation, state, property that is a block. A block is land. Think about that. A block is land. And all cities and states and towns have them. Counties have them. A whole block of a block. You live on this block, I live on that block. So there's more than one meaning for that word block, and we get to decide what that meaning is. Okay? So this is what we're looking at. We're going to be drafting and crafting and creating, rather. We're going to be creating an affidavit, a one-page affidavit. And as the Congress, we're going to be unblocking all legacy accounts because we're the only ones who can unblock that. And then as our brothers and sisters wake up and realize who they are, they will then put proper legacy documentation on the public record. That's what it means. Empress Chris put a matrix move on the account, obstruct, hinder, passage from, or to, block. We could actually look that word up really quickly in Black's Law and see that there is a noun and a verb for that word, and it's definitely going to mean something. It's going to mean, first and foremost, whatever we state that it means, but it's also going to, but we'll take a look at that really quickly.
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
If you
Go
just
ahead.
look at the word itself, B-L-O-C-K.
Yeah.
There's a lock in there.
That's
All
good.
locks require a key.
Yes, a key. That's a great word. That's a great word. Let's take a look now. The word blockhead came up. A term importing want of natural cleverness and slowness or obstinacy of mind. That means someone is missing their natural cleverness. Wow. Interesting.
It makes sense.
It does. Okay, so block. A square or portion of a city or town enclosed by streets, whether partially or wholly occupied by buildings or containing only vacant lots. Also used synonymous with square. The platted streets, the platted portion of a city surrounded by streets. It says the term need not, however, be limited to blocks platted as such, but may mean an area bounded on all sides by streets and avenues. It must be surrounded on at least 3 sides by streets, which must be marked on the ground and not simply indicated as such on a plat. So that word here, they only have it as land. Here. A block book system, an abstract of property assessed for taxes and also of property unrendered or of which owners were unknown, together with maps and plats. And we all know who. There is another spelling of the word block too, right here, B-L-O-C-H. It says a block of surveys. In Pennsylvania, it's land law. And we know what that's about. We know that that means that the Moors at Pennsylvania, which at one point was a capital, and it still is. In fact, all cities are capitals when the Moors are governing. We can capitalize in any city, anything in that city. So here in Black's Law Dictionary, it's all, the word block is all about land. With that being stated, blocking and merged with square. Indeed. So Islam, Empress.
I am curious for you to look up street.
Street?
Simply, yes, because
Yes.
when you read earlier, it said a block. It had to be contained, or the perimeter had to be at least 3 streets. If I'm remembering correctly what you just read about a block. So I'm curious now, what is the definition of street?
An urban thoroughfare, or an urban way or thoroughfare, a road or public way in a city, town, or village, generally paved and lined or intended to be lined by houses on each side. It's saying a lot about public here.
Yes, that's what I noticed, very much so.
Department of Public Works and Buildings versus Ryan. It does not mean square, so it's almost like a block, but not really, because it doesn't mean square, and a block does mean square according to the other.
Remember, it said, if you go back, I mean, if you remember, maybe you remember, I'm sure it said something about it had to have at least 3 streets.
Let's go back and look.
Yeah, that's what made me have to say, let's look at streets.
Yes, let's get back here. Yeah, it did say that. It said something about streets here.
It didn't even say just 3. It said surrounded by.
It did say 3. It must be surrounded on at least 3 sides by streets, which must be marked on the ground and not simply indicated as such on a plat. Yeah. So, so when you talk about a blockchain, you know, what are people really saying when they talk about a blockchain? What are they talking about? Are they stopping someone from doing something when they say blockchain? Are they stopping someone? Islam, nobility.
Justice Travis Baker. When they say blockchain or block grants or anything terms like that, they blocking you from using what we used to call exemptions, and they're using to give about I yield.
Oh, so they're blocking privileges or rights or something, and then taking them for themselves. That makes sense.
Islam, are you? I came in late. My apologies. I missed the first hour because my clock didn't change. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Are you, as you speak about blockchain, are you referring to like crypto money, that type of thing? Crypto.
Yeah.
So I've never been deeply interested in it, but if I go back on the little I know and from way back when I first heard about it, the whole blockchain, was that not the purpose and this is my limited knowledge, but was to block the purported government and other authoritarian entities from accessing what one had in their blockchains.
That was the pretense that they started that thing and got everybody fiat for. They said that it was decentralized and that quote unquote government could not access it. However, that very quickly got shut down by the actors that were acting as government.
And they were all, I mean, they were the ones behind it anyway. I mean, so what,
Yeah.
Travis, was it Noble Travis who just spoke?
Yes.
That just flip the script, and we know they've been blocking the heirs, the sovereigns, the...
Yes. Well, and they can't really block us.
Yes,
They can, if we thought that we were part of their group, they could. See, that was the fraud, is when we thought we were citizens, quote unquote, then others who knew that we weren't could block us from things.
Yes.
And rightfully so, because we didn't know where we were or who we were.
Yeah.
And what you don't know can stop you from getting access to things. Because think about this. I'm looking at this block book system, and I'm pretty sure they were using that term for a reason. It says here, an abstract of property assessed for taxes and also a property unrendered and of which owners were unknown.
Whoa.
That's kind of a lost at sea type of a situation right there.
Is it not? Is it not?
So, the names, but then think about this too. Crypto, that term, Empress. It may or may not be in here, but let's check really quickly and see if that term is in here. Cryptic, crypto, or anything close to that.
I mean, that word means it's a crypt for the dead. It's a container for the dead.
Yes. And who would want that?
Exactly.
Who would even want that? Who would even think through that? Who,
Yeah, it's absolutely the truth.
MNO. And it's supposed to be with a Y, but we know that, let me see, crippling. Of course, they skipped it here.
Could be with a K also, because it's spelled with a K sometimes too.
Well, let's see if it's spelled with a Y here. Oh no, that's not it. No, they didn't spell it with a Y. Crypta. Look at this, you all. Crypta.
A chapel.
Or underground, or oratory underground, or under a church or cathedral.
That's what the crypt is, yes.
Yeah. And that goes back to the beginning. One of the very first things we stated in this Congress today is don't say that you're under anything. We stated that at the beginning. You're not under the Constitution. You're not under a treaty. You're not under the law. You're not under the weather. You're not under any of that. Okay?
Islam.
And Islam, Empress.
So, questions, because I know we talked about corpse and how there's a living one and a dead one. So
Yes.
Would there possibly be a living crypt as well?
I'm pretty sure there has to be some duality there, because there's duality in everything. In other words, there's a living version of everything that was dead. So, for example, think about this: a cryptographer. A cryptographer does language, things that have to do with language. And either he's raising some language from the dead, or or calling a language dead and using it as a dead language. Cryptography. So it all depends on whether you're raising it from the dead or putting or killing it. That would be the duality. I mean, we could be considered cryptologists because we can raise the dead. We've already done it. When we say all rise and stand, we're talking to dead, those who were acting as dead. We're saying all rise and stand, just like they do in when they were acting out court. And a fake judge would come in with a black robe and say, all rise. Well, they were rising everybody up to take their rights and to enact jurisdiction over them. It's unlocked nobility for your sister to come in, for our sister to come in, Islam. So with that being stated, please take a moment to look at this particular code for federal regulations, because we are going to use it because we are the bank, and we are seeing where all of that stuff is being, the actors are sunsetting and shutting everything down. Our job is to awaken that which is ours. Okay. And then we'll talk about it. And anyone who writes an affidavit to exercise or demonstrate this principle, if you would, please let us know. And in the next Congress on Sunday, we will speak to that. Because this is also for the Moors who had an account previously in the last era, in the previous era. You had an account and it was closed for whatever reason, and then you were asking about opening it. It can be opened, but it has to be restated first. It has to be restated first, then you can open it. Okay? So,
Pauline is full of broken promises and failures.
So with that being stated, we'll talk about that in the next Congress. I wanted to bring up something that we talked about briefly in the last Congress. In the previous Congress, we talked about contracts because we were talking.
With that being stated,
we talked about contracts, and Empress Angel brought up something about not giving a piece of yourself when demonstrating commerce, and Justice King L brought he asked for her to expand on that part, and we stated that we would expand on it, not at that time, but at the next Congress, so we wanted to be sure that we did that. Before I yield the floor to Empress Angel about that, not giving a piece of yourself from what we know about the law is not delegating or delegating your authority. Don't take the legs out from under your authority and hand them to someone else to act as you. Enacted entry into contract, and this is something that we will to make clear as often as possible. When demonstrating commerce, we only contract with other sovereigns. We never contract with subordinates. Never contract with subordinates or corpses. When we speak to subordinates, we send affidavits to speak to subordinates. And really, we're talking to a system. We're not really talking to our subjects. Our subjects are our subjects. We speak as master to the subjects. It is what it is. We created them. And so we don't contract with anyone other than the sovereign. Enacted entry into contract with incompetents or minors or anyone who's not a sovereign will result in one of the parties being declared incompetent by the other. If you attempt to contract with those who are not of the bloodline and birthright, that makes you incompetent, not them. They're already incompetent, period. They're subjects. They are not competent to contract at the sovereign level. And incompetent it's a status. It means that there's no standing to contract. Why? Because everyone who came over here as subjects came over here bankrupt. And when you're bankrupt, even when your debts are forgiven, first of all, when you're bankrupt, you can't contract. Period. It is impossible because you have nothing to contract with. And even when your debts are forgiven, those who forgive the debts already own everything. So now we just contract between one another. So all contracts, yes, in the chat, Kingdom of California, that's probably Empress Shatali, it's coming up as Kingdom of California. A contract must have two equal parties with consideration, securities, and standing. All contracts having an incompetent party involved are not valid in the first place. They're void ab initio, void from the beginning. If a party presumes to have a contract with the people, but they expect U.S. Federal Reserve debt notes as payment, that party is hereby ruled incompetent by the people, and all property is immediately confiscated by the government.
You're still using electronic fiat credits.
It's our property in the first place. So again, it is at this point that we prove our competence to confiscate. Successful use of our money is peaceful claiming of the property. See, that's what confiscation is for us. It's peaceful claiming of the property simply by handing our receipts for the property, which is Moorish Sovereign Delarium gold receipts and fiduciary money. Those are receipts for the property that we have. Islam Empress.
And one quick thing is also a restated affidavit. When something comes in the mail, you restate it, and that becomes your receipt for credits. Islam.
Yes, when you restate it, your restatement is the receipt. Yes. Islam. Because we everything must be restated. Thank you for that, Empress Angel. Everything must be restated. Everything must be restated. So anyone asking for U.S. debt notes as payment is incompetent. But you can't just whine and cry and yell and say, you're incompetent, you're asking for fiat. You actually have to put that on paper and prove it. And that's what our demonstration this past week was about. Our demonstration this week was, okay, we know that they're incompetent where fiat is concerned. Let us make it so that our money manifests. Our fiduciary money and our Moorish Sovereign Delarium. Our Moorish Sovereign Delarium is already manifested. Our fiduciary money is already manifested. Now let's just prove by peaceful claiming of the property. I did not need to ask their permission to test it. I didn't need to do that. I did not need to ask their permission. I gave notice, and then the test was done.
But you didn't get your groceries yet.
So, again, we are going to do the test, and we're going to continue doing our business. Where our system is concerned, we have to perfect our system. That's not anybody else's job. It's our system. We know that already. That's why no one came up being quote unquote, what do they call it? What do they call those people? What do they call those people? Loss prevention. That's what they were calling them in the last era. Loss prevention and store security. They don't have those titles. We've already notified that. We put that on the public record and notified everyone. And that's another purpose of notification is, again, the system is aligned with our wishes, our will. And because of that, it is our duty as Moorish scientists to continue to put things through and do the tests, do the experiments and all of that, and make it so that, okay, let's fix this, change this a little bit, do this and do that, because it has to be our creation. It must be our creation. That's the point of all of this. Here's the thing about the fiat. The fiat is not working for most folk. They're having bank accounts blocked and shut down and all of that. And that is why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we're doing what we're doing. They're up in front of fake Congress acting like the banks are closed down on them. And PayPal and WhatsApp and all of that closing down. Just ask the actors that were acting as truckers in Canada. All they did was act like they were having some type of a protest, and all their enacted bank accounts got shut down. And everybody that was attached to them. So what we're doing is getting out ahead of everything that has to do with our systems. We're not afraid of any of that because, again, they're actors. What we're doing is waking up, not waking up our system, but that kind of is what it is. We're just continuing to connect with our system. Our system's an ancient system. And we're not going to contract with corpses and subjects regarding the system, because that's just not how our system works. It doesn't work that way. So with that being stated, I will are there any questions, comments, wisdom from this Holy Congress about these principles?
Islam, Empress.
Islam, nobility.
Islam, love, ibn Allah. Everything you stated is right on point. This is our system, right? And yeah. I'm looking at the lien, levy, and bond process, right? Mm-hmm. And that being the debtors, just the judges, the clerks, everybody that we liened up. That's all of them are debtors, right? So according to chapter 7 and chapter 7 through that process, chapter 11 through that process right there, right? Mm-hmm. What it states is that the debtor's assets becomes the creditor's assets. So it's up to the creditor to renegotiate or reestablish the rule of government for the creditor, right? So now once you establish that jurisdiction right there, he's a debtor. We have liquidated the whole system. It's our asset. So what do we do with it now, right? We take that same asset and we create other assets,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, once you create that other asset, that's where the wealth is at.
Yeah.
It's within the lien, levy, and the bond process right there itself. So, now we, the fiduciary, we have the right and the obligation and the duty as the true heirs of parent to reestablish the corporation or the organization itself, like we're doing. So let's not get off a track. You know, let's stay focused on that right there, because that's our assets and our wealth.
Yeah. And really, yes, indeed, we affirm nobility, and really, those assets were never theirs. They just did the Buck Act and overlaid and misspelled and recreated and revised documents and put them on the public record.
We did it all over again.
And all we're doing is, there you go, restating everything, bringing things back up to the level of state and government. Indeed, we affirm nobility. All we have to do is keep doing what we're doing and keep demonstrating and keep testing our systems and going through and doing what is necessary. Islam, indeed. So it's our system, and just like with Moorish IDs, now showing a Moorish ID or a federal driver's license that we created is not even a big deal. In the system notices, notifies, accepts, and all of that. Nobody's having any issues there. Okay, it took some testing and some putting things together and some looking at it and re-looking at it, and then boom, we come up with the right thing, the right answer, the right formula. The right formula, scientists. And we are also legal and judicial and lawful scientists. So we're financial scientists. We're money scientists. We're source and resource scientists. We're document scientists. We are executive, legislative, and judicial scientists. And so all we're doing is continuing to go, continuing to go back and forth and do what we do. So with that being stated, I will to change our topic here really quickly. You can go back and listen to what we stated about that. It'll be up on YouTube at Light Tajiri Bay this evening. We don't want to keep going back to, because we did talk about that. But if you'll just go ahead and listen to this Congress afterwards, Islam. So with that being stated, I will to speak to a topic because we will to clarify some things about the Congress and about what we're doing. Okay, we will to clarify some things. We will to clarify the difference between, because see, again, we've always stated that there's duality. Duality just means you can look at one word, and for some people looking at that word, they're going to see that word through the lens of programming, and they're going to see that word, like the word block, as meaning one thing. For example, those who have not fully deprogrammed themselves will see the word as the word block as being something against them. When they see the word block, they're automatically going to think somebody's trying to stop them from doing something. If you think that when you see words that someone's going to try and stop you, no matter what the word is, that someone has the authority to stop you, you're still thinking through some programming. And we would suggest that you clear that energy as often as it comes. I cleared programming energy or programmed energy that said that things were against us and somebody was going to try and stop us and all. I cleared that by continuously stating and demonstrating that all things work together for our good. So we will to show the difference between dominion over all and a slave deception that looks very similar to being erudition for dominion. Right now, the principles that we are doing and the demonstrations that we're doing, those demonstrations are demonstrations that assist us in knowing and continuing to know that we have dominion over all systems. Dominion over all and slave deception look similar, but let's talk about it. Dominion, erudition versus slave education. They look similar. People are coming together to learn in both instances. Both are discipleship programs. So dominion, you must learn to be the wealthiest heir ever. You must learn to do that. We must all learn to remember that we are the heirs to all. That's really what we're doing. In slave deception, we went to animal husbandry schools and we learned animal husbandry, but we didn't know it. Slave deception is the true Babylonian clone imitation of true dominion and lordship. It uses a lot of the same words. The words look the same and sound the same, but they're not the same. I think they call that a synonym or a homonym. Words that look and sound the same, but they're not the same. Characteristics of discipleship programs, and this is going to be good information for those whose families may say, "Oh, you're in a cult. You're in a cult. You're doing cult things." So a part of dominionism and dominion erudition, and we've talked about this repeatedly, is sanctification or being set apart for a while. It's temporary. Our temporary sanctification or being set apart or being set aside so that we could learn and focus and hear and awaken is step one of dominion over all, because we have to disconnect from that previous matrix so that we can hear. And it's easier to hear when you don't have a whole lot of that other programming coming at you all the time. Now, what does sanctification look like? It looks like you can stay around everybody and all your family, but mentally you're focused on the learning. So you don't have to pick up and go live out in the middle of the woods. You can do that if you want to, but you don't have to. I'm still at my domicile with my consort and my heiress and people coming by and things happening and grass being cut, dishes being done and all of that, but I'm still sanctified and set apart because my focus is on, first and foremost, our freedom, our estate, because I know that because our estate is safe, everything around me is safe. So there is a set apart sanctification, and sanctified just means set apart. It does not mean that stuff that we were taught previously. But in a slave deception program, and I can't say cult because cult and culture are the same words, and we must have our own culture. Slave deception or Babylonian clone imitations. For example, the previous actors were Babylonian clone imitations of government. They would just babble back what we stated, and people thought they were government. But they weren't. They were actors, mimics, clones, Babylonians. They were just babbling because it didn't really make sense. Nobody believed that they were real government. Nobody believed that. In reality. So isolation is the dual counterpart, that means against the part, that is being set apart and sanctified. Okay? So isolation is what is done for those who are put into slave deception. Sanctification is something we do ourselves. No one else does that. We do it. And that's the biggest difference between dominion erudition and slave deception, is everything where dominion is concerned, we do it for and to ourselves. Whereas in Babylonian clone imitation stuff and fakery and fake government, quote unquote, everything is done to or for those who agree to that. Whereas with us, no one does anything to or for us. We do it to and for ourselves because we are God. Number two, the second characteristic of discipleship programs, and we'll give you the good, the holy and the unholy, the dominion and the slave. Where dominionism is concerned, we are taught dependency, but it is dependence on ourselves and our godness and our inner spirit first and foremost, above all else. Whereas in a slave deception program, and this is how you can tell the difference. In a slave deception program, you are taught total dependency on a quote-unquote leader that acts as your Messiah when you're challenged. They act as your savior through everything that you're going through. In other words, you can't go through it without them putting their hands on you and putting some oil on your pineal gland and casting a spell on you. Then you feel better, like you can make it through it with the help of some outside force. That is Babylonian clone imitation, slave dependency, and slave deception. Some people call it learned dependency or learned victimhood. Okay? Whereas with us, our dependency is on our own godness and our own inner spirit first and foremost. That's the difference. Learned helplessness, yes, that's the term, Empress Shasha. Thank you for that. Learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is aren't we supposed to be under the Constitution? Aren't we supposed to be under treaty law? Aren't we supposed to be under the temple? That's learned helplessness, because you're looking for some umbrella to save you. When you are the temple, you are the saving, you are the savior. The third character, so again, the first and second characteristics of discipleship programs on our side is sanctification, or setting yourself apart in your consciousness, in your erudition, in your spirit, and sometimes when you go for a walk out in nature, you're setting yourself apart in the physical. And for some, they go so far as to go someplace by themselves for months at a time, get another place or move away or spend some time out in the wood. I don't know. they set themselves apart that way. We know that we can be sitting in a crowded room and still be sanctified and set apart because we know how to clean the energy and put peace energy there. That's called sanctified and set apart. The second one is dependency. And either you will know, you will know that you're in erudition and dominionism and dominion over all when you're being eruditioned to be dependent on your godness and your inner spirit first and foremost above all others and above all else, and that your word is the word. That's how you know you're in that type of a program.
Or anything that.
Oh, that
Islam, I affirm.
Lost and way underwater. Go ahead, Empress. I'm sorry.
I affirm what you're stating, Islam.
Yes, yes. That's how you know the difference. And, or in dependency, if you're being taught dependence, that if the minute you're challenged, you have to rush up to the church or the temple and get somebody to slap some oil on your head, and you must see them, you must be with them, you must, you got to do all this and that around them. Then you know that's a clone imitation program. We're not saying that we don't unify together. But when we do unify, when you walk into a room filled with us and you ask who's in charge, we're all going to stand up and say we are, because each and every one of us is in charge. Number 3, characteristics of discipleship programs. And here's the thing about ours. We put ourselves at the discipleship program, and the thing is, we're leading that program together. We don't have a teacher. We're all sharing information together versus having someone stand up behind, and it can be called a judicial pulpit of some kind, and teach you some things and talk down to you like they have more of a connection with their godness than you do. Is the difference. Number 3, the third principle is indoctrination reprogramming. Where we're concerned, we do the deprogramming and reprogramming of ourselves by our own
insignificant failure.
By our own power and authority, and that is what carries us above the challenges to victory. Is we do and here's the thing, one of the principles that we talked about earlier in this Congress about indoctrination reprogramming, we talked about not being lazy about our language and saying, oh, you know what I mean. No, we don't know what you mean until you state it on the public record. If you're going to state things on the public record, state them. Don't just give glory to Babylon. That is not what the public record is for. The public record is for you to state what you mean and mean what you state.
And you've been rejected 3 times in a row.
I must be doing something right.
I affirm.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So, with indoctrination reprogramming, and for us, if you think about the word indoctrinate or indoctrination, and you break that down, that means from the inside, documents, doctoring, healing, writing the documents, and doctoring and healing the nation from within. And then you try that. That's what the experiment is. That's why we're more scientists. Indoctrination, reprogramming. And the difference in us doing our own deprogramming and reprogramming Indeed, in the chat. The difference between that and a Babylonian imitation or a slave deception is that in indoctrination in those slave environments is groupthink, and it's filled with feelings and beliefs that you're willing to hold regardless of anything to the contrary, to include truth, law, and proof. And this actually should be in red. And we can even put it in blue. So in those fake environments, they will throw a bunch of doctrine at you, and they'll get you running around the place, running around the place, jumping up and down, screaming, hollering, yelling, crying, and doing all that regularly. Because if they can pull that energy from you, they can replace it with doctrine. See, when we clear the programming, and that's a everyday thing. We're constantly clearing, but we're constantly replacing that. That's why we consume so much. So we consume study. We consume our study, consume the study all the time. Even when we're resting and relaxing and watching a movie, we're still studying, because we can see our science in every movie. Everywhere we look, we can see ourselves and our resources. So we will to bring these principles forward about the difference, again, because dominion erudition is self-induced. It's self-induced. That means you do it. No one else does it for you. You woke yourself up. You save yourself. You deprogram and reprogram. Deprogramming means look at the thoughts that you think. Come outside of your thoughts, not outside of yourself. Come outside of your thoughts. Look at those thoughts and see if it's coming from a place of fear, a place of anger, a place of frustration, depression, recession, lack, any of that. Confusion, yes. Trauma, yes. And if any of those characteristics are even a little bit behind that thought, you know that that thought is coming from programming. Do we throw the whole thought away? No. We don't throw the whole thought away, because there's going to, see, in order for us to believe anything, there had to be some truth in it. So we just review it and we pull away everything that's causing the fear and keep the one kernel of truth. And you can use that kernel, or you can set it aside, or you can bury it and let it grow into a whole corn stalk of truth. Whatever you choose to do with it. So we will to bring this forth, because it's important that we know the difference, so that as we're going out and winning our kin and our nation back to herself, that we know the difference. Before this clarity came, we were a little bit fearful of going around church people, because we came from a church background. We had a church background. We grew up in church. Our father was a bishop. Our mother was co-pastor. They were the first on syndicated television in Alabama back in the 1980s. All of that. Their church is still there. My youngest brother, Michael, what's up, bruh? He is the head pastor there. Even today, some 40-something, 50 years, almost 50 years later, 40-something years later.
You Porch Negroes are so funny.
So we know that I used to think that I might not be able to stand because of the programming around them, but I found out at my father's funeral that not only can we stand, but we actually can win a whole lot of folk just by getting them to think. Just by getting them to think. I may have spoken this, but at my father's funeral, his homegoing service, because my father, again, he was a bishop, and we did not know. Once he passed away in 2019. We were not sure how he would respond to the information, but we continued to study and to do what we're doing now. Yes, just one moment. Let me put okay. So what we did at his funeral was we shared some of the one-on-one conversation that we had with him about who we are. And we told those in attendance, because there were thousands in attendance at his funeral in Montgomery, Alabama, we told them that we had a conversation with my father, and in that conversation, I had the opportunity to tell my father that everything that he told us about the chosen people is true for us now, knowing what we know about who we really are. The chosen people had dominion over the land. They were given land and all of that. Everything about the chosen people was true about us. And I had the opportunity to tell the people that were in attendance that we've had a treaty on record since 1786 that we are the heirs to all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. And that we are the heirs to all gold, silver, all natural resources. And I started naming some of the natural resources and things of that nature. And I just spoke according to what the ancestors stated for us to support or to say. And so after his funeral, there were many who came up to us asking about what we were talking about. And at that time, I just relayed them to my Facebook page for more information, and I relayed them to our YouTube channel and things of that nature so that they could do the research for themselves. And there were more of them studying who we are based on the conversations that we had with them afterwards than we could have reached one-on-one. We had the opportunity to do it at the funeral, at the homegoing service for my father. So, again, we stood taller in what used to be a church environment. We were able to do the same thing we always do, which is no matter where we go, including courts, we become the court. That day we became the church, the ecclesia, the speaker of freedom, the one who teaches truth or shares truth. And the truth centers were vibrating all over the building. The truth centers, I could just see it even as we were speaking. And I was nervous when I was literally shaking as I was speaking. But after a while, the shaking went away, and we got to state whatever the ancestors led us to state. So from that point on, we knew that no matter where we go, when we're ourselves, we have nothing to fear. We don't have to be scared to go to a church. We don't have to be scared to, do any of that when we're going with a purpose. Okay. And that's for some, that's not for now. For some, that's not forever. That's not at all. They're never going to ever go to a church again. We get that. We are just stating that for those who know that they're going to go back and get their brothers and sisters and give them the truth. Okay. What we're seeing now is that those who know who they are can go anywhere. Anywhere, it doesn't matter. Those places that used to be fake courts become Article 3 the moment before we even get there, because we send the word beforehand. They become Article 3, and in fact, they stay Article 3 with us because we continue to govern them. Any words coming from those places are coming from us first. And that's why we put those places that we used to be scared of, that we thought were against us. King County Superior Court and Pierce County Superior Court and Thurston County Superior Court. The county courts, the county land courts. Those are our courts. We are the highest judicial and justice.
One of your kids come on any of your podcasts. Why?
Those places are tools that we use now regularly for all that we do. So with that being stated, there's just a couple of other notes. Temporary sanctification is spiritual, mental, or physical time away from the fraudulent information fed to the masses. You can sanctify your thoughts by shutting off the computer for a day, for 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, or half a day, or however long you're led to do so. Temporary sanctification can be clearing energy and putting gratitude energy in place. Temporary sanctification is regular participation with like-minded. Because that's and in reality, that's not even temporary. It's becoming every day for us. Whereas to the antithesis of that, and not really the antithesis because it's not equal, isolation from kin and friends, that is not how this works. We don't have to isolate ourselves from our kin and our friends. An example of normalization of isolation is 4 years of college away from home. 4 years of college away from home. The reason they pulled them away is to isolate them from the family, to program them. And then they let all kinds of stuff go onto the college campuses. They let the quote-unquote military go there, ROTC, and recruit. They let all other capitalization or capitalist group, they let corporations come on to the college campuses and recruit so they can capitalize on the people. All of that. And by the time you think you've made up your mind at those places, your parents cannot tell you no. So that was the enactment of being set apart. Church or work retreats. Church or work retreats was a way to isolate Because, see, isolation, if you isolate someone for just 8 hours a day, it's going to change their thinking if they're open to it. Workplace is an example of that. We would go away for 8 hours, and we couldn't shake those thoughts by the time we got home. So here's the thing, too, about sanctification and about discipleship programs. With discipleship programs, problems, issues, addictions, court problems, debt, thinking that you're going to go to jail, and all those types of things are used as isolation tools, but they are also used, where we're concerned, as sanctification tools. Those are sanctification tools. Those are tools that cause you to see where you yourself can program yourself and to inoculate yourself according to your will. It is up to you to empower yourself to separate your mind long enough to deprogram yourself. These problems, issues, addictions, they look like that's what they look like they are, but they're really tools. Addiction is a tool. Problems, issues, debt, those are tools, actually, because they are going to empower you to move out of an environment or away from certain things or certain people long enough, or certain thoughts or certain energies long enough to deprogram yourself and to put some good information in there so that you can save yourself. That's the difference between erudition and animal husbandry. That's the difference. These are the differences between those. Are there any questions, comments, wisdom regarding these principles?
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
I affirm all that you stated, because to the point that
So your husband is animal husbandry.
Go ahead.
The divine part is the Islam, I, self, law, and master.
Yes.
And then from the other side, that would be the Islamic religion.
Yeah.
So that's
for you. That is what that is.
That's how I interpret it. Because when I self-law and master, I sanctify myself, I set myself apart, and there's no dependency on anything other than self, because that's what Islam means. I self-law and master. And then, in some, circles of, schools of thought, they teach you to be dependent on what they say, how they say it, and this, that, and the third. And that is contrary to what Islam is, how I view it anyway. And so, so this is just, showing the characteristics of how to practice true Islam.
Yes. True Islam is self-induced.
That part.
And self-governing.
That part as well.
Yeah. Self-activated. And all of that.
Your master is still credits, which are really fiat.
Through the whole way, that is what it is.
Islam, I affirm.
So, dominion,
and then peace as well. Peace is Islam. So when you self-govern, you find peace.
Yes.
Because you're not worrying about somebody else doing something or not doing something. You have peace because you know that you have the answers and you are the answer. So you're not anxious, you're not frustrated, you're not upset about somebody else not doing something, You have the peace within thyself because you're practicing the true Islam.
Yes.
Which is peace and love and joy and abundance and gratitude.
Yes. prosperity, yes. The all, indeed, yes. So these are just some things to keep in mind as we continue demonstrating who we really are along this way. Listen, we have, and these things are important to know because we're so wealthy. We have more money than we have things to buy right now. So we're actually going to be demonstrating as we move through our topics. We're going to be demonstrating here probably this weekend, and it'll just pop up in your feeds, or you'll see it when it happens. We're going to be demonstrating more wealth and abundance according to the things that we've stated in the past. For example, we brought forth, we showed you a brief catalog of items that
can't wait to see that rejection.
Items that can be exchanged for gold and silver, because we keep hearing people say that gold and silver is not fungible. That's what we heard someone who is on a completely different platform say. And we, it was actually, it was a Christian platform, and it was someone, the leader of this Christian platform is an heir, but I don't think he knows he's an heir I know he doesn't know he's an heir to the degree that we know, but he does know that fiat is not real. He's looking for a way out of that. And so I actually had the opportunity to dialogue with him during a live where we talked about gold and silver. Because the people that watch this particular platform are watching from everywhere, because he has groups of people on different continents.
You're funny,
and
not
so, and so with him having different people on different continents, they're all looking for a way out of the fiat system. And so our ancestors have given us a way to connect with them, with a lot of different platforms, to let them know that there is a way out, and we're actually going to continue to provide that way. We're going to continue to show and demonstrate that gold and silver is fungible. You can use it to get things. Moorish Savandalarium is the receipt for that. So as the gold and silver is sent in, like we've been stating previously, we send out Moorish Savandalarium as a receipt for the gold and silver, and they can take that receipt and use it to buy things with. That is the exchange mechanism that we're using, and it has worked beautifully with the federal driver's license program. So we're going to continue that process, except we're expanding it larger and larger. This weekend we'll be doing another demonstration, and again, the demonstration that we do this weekend is not going to be fog machines and fireworks and and diamonds everywhere. It's going to be simple and to the point. Simple and to the point, and we're going to demonstrate how to use gold and silver to get things. Because we're going to be presenting the things that you can get with gold and silver. And then when people send the gold and silver, we're going to send them the things. And then we're going to spread that. So we've already, again, we showed the Congress the catalog, and that was just a very basic presentment of the gold and silver catalog. In fact, let me see if I can go ahead and put that catalog in the chat. Just one moment, let me pull away from Am I sharing? Well, let's see. Gold and silver catalog. That's the one we will to see. Hopefully you all remember the gold and silver public market, brought to you by the Moroccan American Exchange, which many of you invested in. Just one moment. Let me correct this record here. Because that's not who they say they are. Okay. So we showed you this catalog where we had, for example, a men's sweater, and we put in the catalog previously, we put, let me see if we can get that in here right now. For example, this would be 2 silver coins, and I thought we put that in here. Just one moment. So this would be, if it's 80, that would be either 2 or 3 silver coins. I think it's 3 silver coins. 20, 30, yeah, it would be 3 silver coins. And again, we're just getting it started. That's the back of it. And then there was a women's dress here, and this dress is $10, I think it was. So that would be 1 silver coin or a coin that's a ½ ounce silver coin. So again, we're just showing you this is a product that it still has had the tags from the previous era on them. It was showing us, I think, 80, so this would be 3 silver coins. You know, which in essence would be $3. So it would go from $80 to $3 because a $1 silver coin is really a 1 ounce silver coin. 1 ounce was $1 back in the day. And that tells you how far up things went because it was not valued properly. So, but in this case, because silver is about 20-something, 29 an ounce or something like that, it would be about 3 silver coins, you know. And so we put some things in the catalog. And again, this is just an illustration to show you what we can do with gold and silver. And then where gold is concerned, we had, what did we have? We had, let's show what we had. We had some, eventually and ultimately, this is going to lead up to conveyances and domiciles and things of that nature as well. So we're going to demonstrate this weekend, and that way we can, just one moment. Just one moment. That doesn't make any sense. And here's the thing. We know that some are not going to be bounding head over foot for these items. Our intention is to get the gold and silver exchanges started. That's our intention. We've already done that where legal processes are concerned, where driver's license, federal driver's license that we offer, where the gun permits, gun licenses, birth certificates, any documents that are below the national level, because we don't, the ones above at the national level, the nationals will create those. So there's no, we don't even charge for those. We just show you how to do them and you do them for yourself. But then at the commercial level, which is what driver's license and all of that is, we show you how to do those things, and we receive gold and silver for those processes. And then those that are having issues where courts, quote unquote, are concerned, we provide some documentation there, or we show you how to provide consul for that. And then, of course, we consul where everything that has to do with us is concerned, because anytime, according to the treaty, anytime there is an issue between citizens and Moors, that the consul is to decide. And so that's what we do. That's what we've been doing this whole time. It has worked out so beautifully, so beautifully, so beautifully that we would encourage everyone to just know that process. Yes. Justice Yahya says Article 20 of the 1836 treaty. Yes. And I believe it's 21 or 22 of the 1786 treaty. Islam. Any other questions, comments, wisdom regarding anything that we've stated thus far?
Islam, is the sea salt still a part of that marketplace?
Is what?
Is the sea salt? Because I didn't see the sea salt listed on them.
It is. The book that we pulled up, my daughter's been doing some editing. She's pulling from the Excel spreadsheet that she keeps of the inventory and putting it into the book. And she moves some things down, moves some things over, and that's the copy that I have there. But yes, the sea salt. Now the sea salt is where the gold coins are going to come in more often. The gold coins are going to come in this manner. Anyone who orders anything, say for example, if you order this sweater and you only have gold coins, when you send in a 1 ounce gold coin, we will send 8 ounces of sea salt in a specialized vessel. It has a certificate or serial number for that sea salt. So each one who receives the sea salt and the specialized container for the sea salt to come in will be receiving a one of a kind, because it has a serial number, a certificate number that comes with it. That is for a 1 ounce gold coin, and you'll get whatever else it is that you ordered. So if you order a sweater or a shirt or a dress or some shoes or whatever it is that we are offering this coming weekend, and you send just one moment, and you send a gold coin, then you will automatically get the sweater that you ordered and the handcrafted sea salt. I specifically, and my heiress, we specifically go to the sea, we pull the water, the sea salt water with the minerals in it from the sea, and we boil it down to sea salt. We use it ourselves here at home, and we also manufacture it. Package it up for you. And we assign a serial number, and you'll get a gold card with the serial number on it and the date of that particular, that it was packaged. And and it may have a signature on it. It may have a signature on it. Most likely it will have Light Tajiri Bay on it, on the gold card as well. But we'll see. We'll just kind of, we're looking at different methods of packaging for it, and we may try different packaging for different shipments, however it goes, because we know the importance of handcrafted items, and we also know that to make the sea salt takes a lot longer than it takes a much more personal touch. So that's why the gold coin for that, the 1 ounce gold coin for the sea salt. The 1 ounce gold coin for the sea salt, and it will include whatever else you order, whether it be a sweater or a dress or shoes or whatever it is. And we will eventually have documents that you can order also. The documents just being books and things that we write, and things of that nature.
Islam, yes. I just like to take this time to make mention the process for which one sends to receive these items that are for offer. The government mailing process is not a suggestion. It is actually a command that we do that process that we have stated on the public record to honor the process and honor the system and honor our ancestors, that no fiat be done for the process of sending any gold, silver, or dolarium for this process. It is a command that you understand the process of how we mail through the system to honor, like I just stated, and that things will come to you. Islam, and that things will come to you and go as you desire and will it to, through the process that we've stated on the public record. And if you have any questions, you can go on Light Tajiri Bay YouTube channel and search the mailing process, and it will come up. It might be like a few, because we've stated it a few times in the Congress concerning the mailing process.
Why don't you put a link to it in the chat and also under this video?
Okay, yes. And so I just felt it necessary for the new people, the new Moors that may be coming around and hearing this, because they might desire it, at haste. And so they just might get all excited and say, oh, I'm just going to put it in a mail and pay for it. And we don't do it that way. And so Islam.
Thank you, Empress, for that. If you would, I'm gonna go ahead and find that process and put it in the chat so that they can access it. And here's the thing about the mailing process and why it's so important. The mailing process is so important because you are literally accessing an ancient trust when you use the mailing process. Okay, and the video is an 8-minute and some seconds video that shows how to mail things according to the way we do things. We'll send the 8-minute video. There is an updated version of that video, but if you will start with the 8-minute video, just start there. And then as you continue to study that process to use it, it also makes it so that your packages and parcels cannot be confiscated. Okay, when that process is done properly, the system will put your packages through the way that it's supposed to be put through. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a link to that video. Just one moment, let me get to it here on our channel. There it is. Here's the first video. It's called the prepaid mailing process. This we did some years back. We've been using the process to send things so that we don't have to use fiat. And then for the subjects, there is an express mail process that you can use where you don't have to use fiat, but you'll have to study that process. Here's the link in the chat to the mailing process, and we'll also put the link on the screen so that you can see it.
That system will bring you.
Here you go.
Islam, Empress.
Islam nobility.
This is Justice Malika Kilbay. You said there's a process for the subjects to use the express mail. Is there a process for us as well?
Justice Malik.
Maybe I didn't word that correctly, but what is that process?
We've always had a mailing process. This is our mailing process on the screen. We've always used the same mailing process where we do not use fiat to send our stuff.
Right. I was just wondering if we could do like the overnight mail process that way.
Why overnight? You can demonstrate that, of course. Of course you can. You can demonstrate it.
Okay, I was just wondering. I just never gave it any thought, but it's just something to think about.
Oh, yeah. Listen, when you see another process that you will to demonstrate, go ahead and demonstrate it so you can tell us, hey, did you all know we could do this too? So, yes, this process that is on the screen here, let me put the link on the screen. This is the link to the mailing process video. This was the first one we did. We since updated the stamps. And at some point here in the near future, and we're putting this on a public record, the stamps are going to be updated once more so that they say that everything that we're doing is domestic because it's our land.
Credits are just
See what I'm
electronic
saying?
fiat. Just saying.
So domestic is going to be the change. Instead of it saying non-domestic, it's going to be domestic because this is our land. It's our United States, not any foreign debtor. Okay? So with that being stated, are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this amazing Congress? Islam, Justice Earl.
Was there any follow-up with the information that was shared in the special meeting?
Any follow-up with what?
With concerning the special meeting that we had recently. Any follow-up on that?
Let me ask you what follow-up you are looking to hear about.
Anything that has anything to do with value with us.
Yeah.
I know that there was some expressions of follow-up of future connecting to getting to more information, but if there was anything else at all.
I did not put that link in the chat. Someone else put that there, but we will put the real link right there. There was no follow-up well, the follow-up is what we just showed you, where commerce is concerned, we're going to be furthering our catalog, our gold, silver, and Moorish sovereign dollarium gold receipts catalog. And the statement that I made earlier about something should be coming up this weekend. We're going to just do a very raw, basic presentment of gold and silver, of things that are in our catalog. We're just going to demonstrate gold, silver, and Moorish sovereign dollarium commerce. It's going to be like a gold and silver shopping network kind of thing. Just very basic, very raw. We have to start somewhere. We might as well start there. We know how to do it. We have all the equipment. We have all the stuff. So we're going to demonstrate gold and silver commerce this coming weekend. So that's the follow-up, is a demonstration. We coming with it.
Okay. Just
because that's all we know how to do. and then around and then also your anything that you all have around your domicile where you want to do a 10-minute gold and silver demonstration, you can do the same thing. For example, if you have documents where you want to assist people with their documents and use gold and silver as the exchange mechanism, why not do a 1-minute spot, vignette, commercial, video about that, and just put it out there and say, if these are some of the documents that you can get, and we charge, 6 silver and or 1 gold for each, 1 ounce of gold for each document. If you have tickets and court things and things like that going on, 1 gold coin, and we will write a document for you and forward it from the government or for that court, because we're the head magistrates at all courts. And so let's say, for example, if someone sent you a gold coin because they got a ticket at in King County, let's say, quote unquote, well, we can do a document for them from King County Court, King County Superior Court, stating that the gold coin that they sent for this document also pays the fee for the ticket. And we restate the ticket, and then we can take care of that for 1 gold coin.
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
I was referring to the, and pardon me, I forgot his appellation.
Justice Ammonite, I believe he's here on the call, but I will say this, Justice Earl, it is going to be important that as we introduce even other Moors, that we all first look at what we can do instead of looking to others. And I'm not saying that you're looking to him for anything, but what I am saying is your change is going to come when you demonstrate what you know, and then others will be coming to you for that information. It's just, it's that simple for all of us. Yes, we appreciate what Justice Amazite brings to the table. Of course, we appreciate that. We know that we're going to continue moving in the direction we're moving while we come together with others. Because what I noticed even about what our brother brought to the table is that let's say the warehouse that he mentioned, they still need a way to get that stuff moved. And because we're not doing fiat with the things that we're doing, this demonstration that we're going to do this weekend, by just going live with an instructional video on how to do gold commerce, is going to assist in furthering the movement of cell phones and washer and dryer and whatever they have in their warehouse, because the fiat part is not really working for anyone. It's not working for anyone. Either people don't have enough of it, or they don't have any of it, or they don't want to use it, because they know what jurisdiction means. So the update is definitely going to be, we're not looking for anyone to save us, and I know you're not looking for it, but I'm just saying this for the benefit of the new Moors and, We're not looking for anyone to come in and save us at all. We're going to keep moving in our demonstrations and doing the things that we're doing. And when they bring things to the table, we'll be able to assist them too. You know, and that goes for everyone, all of us. So whatever demonstrations you have or that you're planning, you know, it may not be the most high-end looking demonstration. Just get started. Just get it started. You know, some of you have masonry skill sets and things. Do a demonstration, and then, you know, say gold and silver for your services. We must make the gold and silver fungible. We must do that, because no matter how much cannabis somebody has to sell, it's still got to be done with gold and silver, and we give them a Moorish $7 receipt for it. We still have to do that. So we might as well go ahead and get started on that, like we've been doing. You know, we've been putting our stuff out there, even with the catalog and things like that. And then maybe they'll bring their cannabis and have their cannabis go through our catalog and have gold and silver sent to them for that. And we'll just, you know, take a cut of the gold and silver, because we don't use cannabis yet until they put it in an oil form that we can rub on our skin or something like that. But we don't smoke it, so, you know. But we're not against it or anything. We just are looking at the market and the viability, you know, and making it so that it's not confiscatable. You know, making it that it's so that the people can get it and not be afraid. You know. So that's the update on that. Because again, he you know, our brother said that there are Moors that have 200 acres of cannabis and a warehouse here and a warehouse there. All of that stuff has to be done with gold and silver. And sometimes, and we heard that they were doing it with crypto and some fiat. So that says that it has to be restated. If any fiat was used, it has to be restated. And so, you know, now we're going to demonstrate gold and silver, and hopefully they'll come on board with that, you know, and then issue more $7 gold receipts for the gold and silver that comes in, just the same way we've been doing. You know, we have gold and silver that has come in. I would be interested in some cannabis oil for our skin and, you know, things of that nature. I would be interested in that. And I have gold and silver that I can coinage, that I can exchange for it, for our hair and things of that nature, and our nails and our skin. So let's get it cracking. To me, and to further answer that question in a real short word, we are the update. All of us, we're the update to everything that's going on out there. We're the update.
Islam, Empress.
Islam, nobility.
I affirm all that what you said, but just one thing. Now, some more may inhale.
Okay, get your gold and silver coinage ready so that you can do that.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Without being violated. That's what I'm saying. We're not against any of that. Boards can do what they want to do. Our job is to make it legal and unconfiscatable and unalienable and inalienable. That's our job. We just will to manifest the protection as you enjoy your estate. And you can have 5,000 acres of cannabis if you will to do so. Islam.
Islam, Empress, is Noble Atiba Day, New York Territory.
Islam.
As I am listening, and I have been listening for an extended period of time, so I'm pretty versed in the things that's being said.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I still am working on moving forward. So I said that to say this: might be some other Moors out there who has possibly the same mindset of looking at getting out of one system and moving into a whole different system. Now, it might be a little bit frightening, if you will, not necessarily a paralyzing fear, but it might be a little frightening even in conceptualizing what's literally happening right now, because one system is closing. So quite naturally, another system has to open up. And as we move into the gold, silver, and Moorish Matriarche system, is it just a matter of individually and collectively we have to all begin to really embrace this at our individual deepest level for it to work, because we still have distribution that has to be done. I was going to ask a question when I was thinking of it earlier, but before I could ask the question, you answered the question in terms of an exchange, because I was going to ask what type of exchange will we have? Just as that thought was coming through, you spoke to that in that there is and I just looked at the name of it.
Moroccan American Exchange.
Yes, that one.
The Moroccan American.
I did see it. I got excited. Now, it's really a fact. What you are delivering is very, very exciting. I'm excited hearing it and facing the possibilities of doing it and getting it done. Yet I still have not made a couple of critical, I don't want to say critical, I still haven't made a few necessary steps yet, but I am in the process of making them, if that makes sense. And I'm just
I have a question.
That need to express. Yes.
Yeah. I feel where you're coming from. I have a question that hopefully will assist in movement, because movement indicates life and understanding and clarity. First and foremost, what skill or product do you have that you will to begin exchanging? And you don't have to answer that now, but write that question down and think about it. Because, see, I know right off the bat you have a skill set because you know the law. So that could be the starting skill set. However, it could be carpentry or it could be, I don't know, whatever other skill set you have. Whatever that skill set is, the next step is going to be to put together a marketing package. Very simple marketing. The simplest marketing package that you can put together, which is 3 things. What is the skill, and give a good description of it, and provide a photo, at least 1 or 2 photos of you doing that. That's number 1. Number 2 is, what is the price of that? Is it 1 gold coin, 5 silver coins, 2 silver coins? What is the pricing? And third, how do people connect with you to get that? Put that together, and that will be movement. Because when you do that, from there, the rest is just going to come. It's going to come. Those 3 things.
Yeah, Islam, Islam. And I do receive what you have so adequately and beautifully expressed. And I'm grateful for that. I have a number of silver coins. Okay. And in my travels, I'm in the New York territory, New York City territory. The Bronx to be that. And I go to different bodegas. I'm a veteran, so I be at my veterans hospital, which is one of our meeting places. And I'm just stating this for a reason. And I pull out silver coins all the time at different bodegas, at different stores in the neighborhood, if you will, and even at the VA. And I'll pull it out and I said, can you deal with that? And they have not a clue of what silver coins are. Yet, we are preparing to introduce silver and gold. And the average person out here don't have a clue about what a silver coin or a gold coin look like.
That just warms my heart because they are all customers. They're all potential customers because they know nothing about it yet. That means that the harvest is ripe, because you can best believe they're looking for a way out of that fiat. That's happening. So I'm just excited. I have goosebumps on that because they're all ready, waiting. All they have to do is know what to do with it and where to get it. Oh, it's going to, and when you tell them that that is not taxed and that they don't have to report that to the quote unquote IRS, and it's not going to affect their pay, their VA money and all of that, it's not going to affect any of that they use it. All potential, that's income for us, not income, that's deposits for us, because deposits are not taxed. That's deposits for us. That's wealth for us, because it's our job to introduce them to it. That's how come they don't know. We haven't introduced it yet fully. We've introduced it. It's been introduced. But that's what we're doing this weekend. We're just going to do a raw and say, this is how you do gold and silver commerce. We're going to just do it. And let that be the start, a further start, because we've already done it. We've already introduced it. We already talked about the Al-Moroccan American Exchange. We talked about gold and silver. We've received gold and silver for our services already. So we got it started. We're just going to keep it moving, and then we're going to show everybody that this is how we did it. This is how we did it. This is how we did it. That's it. We love being first to do things. We love it. We love it. And listen, our system is not, it doesn't even require you to overthink it and over-strategize. Just get something ready and then use gold and silver. And if you have gold and silver, put out there on the public record what you're willing to spend it on, and we'll create that too. However you want to spend it, what do you want to use it for? What did you see in your mind as a use for your gold and silver? And just put that on paper, and I don't care what it is. I don't care how big it is. I don't care how lavish, because all of that's coming. It's already ours. If you saw yourself going to a vacation spot where there were Moorish masseuses who and then there were Moorish seamstresses who made specific garments for you while you were there, and there were Moorish nutritionists who created nutrition. If that's what you had in mind for your gold and silver, put it on the public record that just say, I have this many silver coins, this is what I'm looking for. And make sure you let the Congress know. And I guarantee you we will create it. We will create it. We will create it. That's our job. We have some things. We're just going to start with basic products that we have nationalized.
Islam.
Yeah, we're just going to start with basic products that we've nationalized, and we'll go from there, you know. And then we're just going to keep going and going and going and going. And telling people where to send the gold and silver like we did previously, and telling people how to do it. Because we got to start somewhere. So we're going to start where we start, like we always do. And then we just get it done. That's how we do it. Our Grand Sheikh Taj said, just get it started and clean it up as we go. Ooh, what did he say that for? What did he say that for? And he was saying that about Consular Court way back in 2017, 2018. Just get it started and we'll clean it up as we go. Pew! So
I'm going to stick to Islam. I'm going to stick a little phrase in there that it comes from that musical thing that says, if your heart is in the right place, then you're welcome aboard. So that means the heart has got to be in the right place. Islam.
Yeah. You know, people just will to be away from fiat. People will to be away from that because they know that's not even lawful. It's not lawful. It's not legal either. By the way, it's not legal. It's not legal. And here's the thing. When the legal tender and the right stuff is put up on the public record, that other stuff has to go. No one can ask you for that. So we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep going.
Islam?
Islam.
Justice Yahya Bey speaking in the Carolina Territory. I have a question concerning demonstrations. Is there because I know you have to do the public notice, and I actually created a Facebook account, and I actually posted my documents up there, but I do know that there's like a waiting period, or I should say there's a certain time that you have to wait to write up your to get the affidavit of publication to send it off to the different offices. So do I have to
wait a minute? Say that again. You have to wait a certain period of time to do what?
To create my affidavit of publication.
Who said that? Who told you that?
Well, that's when I got my what's it called, proclamation of declaration done. That's how long it took, like 28 days, I think, or something like that.
Okay, so may we state that when you do your documents yourself, you do them. You don't have to wait any specific time. You do your documents when you will to do them, because in reality, no one speaks for you. You speak for yourself. Once you have a template or an idea of what you will the document to say, you write it up on Moorish government letterhead and you publish it at will. At will. That's actually the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
That's the law, really. Yeah.
So we don't follow the law, enforce the law. So basically, because I wanted to just confirm and be consistent, because I'm not trying to do anything different. I want to be guidelines, So I would like to do some demonstrations, but I want to make sure that my paperwork, everything is going okay with that. So I guess what you just said, not I guess, but from what you just told me, I'm authorized to create my own affidavit of publications at will.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yes, you're the court, you're the justice, you're the judge, you're the chief justice. You must create your own because you're going to, at some point, have to assist those around you, Justice.
Right.
You must create your own. And you can use a template if you want to use a template. But at some point, you're going to be reading through the template, and there's going to be a couple of words that you think should be there or shouldn't be there. You have the authority to change them according to your will.
Okay, so just want to I guess confirm. Moving forward, I can actually start to do demonstrations now that I post on Facebook. Okay.
You must. You must.
Will do. No, definitely. Most definitely. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to do these demonstrations and test the system, keep testing the system.
Yeah. Here's the thing. When people are pulled over unexpectedly, seemingly, they don't have time to be like, okay, well, I didn't get my document done, so I'm not going to be able to demonstrate who I am. You don't have time for that. You've got to demonstrate who you are at all times, peacefully. You must. The people the actors that were pretending to pull people over don't wait. They don't say, oh, he's speeding, but he got 28 more days to wait, so we'll just let him go until them 28 days is over. They don't wait. They don't do that. So you can't wait.
That's right. I don't want to wait. I was only trying to be respectful.
It's respectful to go ahead and be yourself. That's actually more respectful than anything.
I have to have respect for myself. Absolutely right.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You must. Because you have as much authority as any of us. From birth.
It's good to know we share this power together.
Yes.
As one.
Yes.
Yeah. It's beautiful. But that's all. Sorry.
We must govern because foreigners can't do it for us. That's all our, that is our point in the matter.
They can't do it for us.
No. No, it's our estate, so we have to do it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I yield the floor. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nobility, for checking on your authority.
Absolutely.
Islam, we will remind you every chance we get.
Thank you. Appreciate the encouragement.
Indeed. Islam.
Indeed. Yes.
Are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this great and amazing and competent and intelligent and wealthy and abundant, prosperous, peaceful Congress?
Islam.
Highly competent Congress. Empress Shasha and then the noble who said Islam. Empress Shasha, Islam.
Islam. Shasha and Bay. Hamika Terry. I just wanted to share. So today I went out to, as postmaster, to go drop some things in the mailbox this time at the at our post office.
Yes.
So I was doing a little investigation, and I met the subject in the office of parish postmaster. Now, of course, she didn't introduce herself as that. I told her that she was actually the subject in the office of parish postmaster, and I was the postmaster.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting because she was a very professional. She's a sleeping Moor, of course.
Yeah.
But and I informed her that actually I would be sending some documentation, and I would be coming in to have a look at the post office and the processes, and so I just wanted to share. It was completely unexpected, but and I informed her of our government and who we are and all of those things. And
I guarantee you, she did not deny what you said.
No, not at all.
She didn't fight it. She didn't say no. Well, no, I'm the postmaster.
No, not at even as she was ignorant of, you know, the Moorish National Republic federal government.
She knows who we are. She knows who we are. She knows.
Yeah, and you're right. You know she does. But she did not resist in any fashion. And in fact, she submitted herself completely. I asked all the questions.
Yeah.
I asked her name, all of those things. And so I just wanted to share that. So consequently, next thing, complete the Postmaster General ID. It's in process, but now because I have an appointment.
That's good.
But yeah, so I just thought it was completely unexpected, unplanned, but Spirit knows why go on. So yeah.
You know, we don't. Again, wisdom has no adversary.
Correct.
Wisdom has no adversary.
That is
the hardest part is behind us. We did the hard part. Now it's do the research and the testing of our system. You know, put things through, see what happens, put it through again, try something different, tailor it. You know, look at the codes and statutes, send another command to the system, have the system do this, that, and the third. I'm going to do my best to show you all how United Services Automobile Association, which we've shown you recent documents where we restated the documents. We will to show you the latest document that my Empress received from them, where they completely wrote everything out, just like we said. And then down at the bottom of the document, they put that USAA means United Services Automobile Association, which was not at the bottom of the rest of the document. But as soon as we sent that stuff in, the system changed it. Changed the printout.
That is the power. Yeah.
That just continues to let me know that what we're stating is absolute truth about systems and about all that we're doing. Let me run and grab that document really quickly. I'll be right back, and I'll just show it on the screen.
Islam, yes, it's been on the altar. Islam. And Empress Sasha, congrats, high honors to your testimony and your demonstration. High honors, Empress.
Thank you, Empress Angel.
You did?
The certificate, yeah, not that. Living birthday.
Oh, the day? Or in the bag? In the bag? Oh.
It's on that.
Yeah, I have it.
Islam, Empress Sasha.
Islam.
Brother Justice Nathaniel just mentioned to me that it might be or may not be that they stopped in and out of flights of Jamaica. Is that true? Have you heard anything of that nature?
Who? You mean who? All flights? Or?
The enactment. So Justice Nathaniel just stated that they're enacting stopping transportation in and out of Jamaica. Have you heard any of such, reports or any kind?
No, I haven't. But I haven't been on, on the news at all today. But I haven't seen anything like that. The only thing that they've been talking about stopping is the Haitians, the Haiti, the people from Haiti, but not for just. I know that they've been enacting, stating that there's too much crime and warning the citizens, the U.S. citizens, from not traveling here, that type of thing. But I haven't heard anything specific to shutting down transportation. But I'll have a look and see what the play is saying.
Well, because just as Nathan, his interpretation from that was that because of proper status is necessary, and how you've been demonstrating there at Jamaica that things have been changing in that regard.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because whenever we hear things like that, and I've been meaning to emphasize this, whenever we hear things like travel has been stopped, or this has been stopped, or that has been stopped, they are not talking to us. I know that for sure, because when they said that about King County and all of that, that just cleared the roads for us. We were gone, doing all types of awesome things. So, and as we went out to do those awesome things, we saw that there were some people who knew that was not that didn't apply to them. It only applied to the ones who say it applied to them. We would go out to the beach and to the parks, and go to get we collect our seawater from a couple of specific places, and people were, the crowds were thin. It wasn't that many people, but those people knew that they can go wherever they want to go and do whatever they want to do. And if the masses decide they want to stay stuck in a room or in a domicile, that's a choice. It's a choice.
Islam.
Don't listen to that. We got so much done during quote-unquote COVID that it wasn't even funny. We showed y'all the things we got done during COVID. We was out everywhere getting stuff done.
Islam. So was I. They actually, they would send the popo out to certain places, but I went about my business.
You know what, Empress? I was down at the county courts and everything, getting stamping my own documents and everything during that time period. So I was walking past the uniformed actors, and they didn't say a word. They didn't say a word. They didn't say a word.
No, when I say they were sending, they were their hired mercenaries were going and abusing some of that, of course, is all.
You know what? They're going to do that, Empress, if people have not put documents on the public record about who they are. They're only going to do that with the subjects, because we told you through that whole period. You can go back and look at the videos of how we talked about what we were doing during that time period, and when people thought that they were going to question court action and then who are you and all of that, and documentation and all of that, because we were not going to wear masks and we were not going to stop going and being and doing. It's our land.
I mean, when you look back at that whole pandemic, and it's just, it is mind-boggling. But as you stated earlier, what is done by us.
Yeah.
By the state of mind and also, I mean, it's by the state of mind, and it swings, because by standing, some things come, the tests come, which aren't necessarily pleasant, but it is done by us. Everything, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it is ultimately, we are the authority on what happened.
Yes. We're the ones who put the orders out there.
Yes.
To stop debt from moving around all over the place.
Yes.
We said that. We said, that everyone must be properly identified.
We're seeing the commands being honored.
Yes. Look at this. I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover this as best I can to preserve privacy for her.
Well, while you getting that together, and like I had searched for the post office demonstration, and this video was in that search on your YouTube channel, and it was the how to proclaim your nationality, Moorish traveling abroad, Ethiopia. And it was interesting that it'd be there, and we're talking about, you know, traveling and, you know, having the freedom to do as we desire, and no one can say anything. If you will it to be, it will be. And this is what is, and this is like a 3 year and a half ago video that you had demonstrated that about.
Yeah. We've put so much on the public record about who we are that, again, we're not having any adverse challenges to who we are. So now we're just in test mode. We're just fixing up our system and getting it squared away and putting, listen, look at this right here. Let me see if I can get this on the screen. Look what they put here. They spelled everything out. Even the word road was spelled out.
I really can't see it.
Let me see if I can, just a second, let me.
And you might want to double up the page if you want to conceal the other information.
Thank you, Empress. All right.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Because I do want to conceal it for her privacy's sake. Okay. There it is right there. And
very well. It's in the frame. Yes. Wow.
See, they even spelled out road, and they put Texas in capitis diminutio minima.
Okay, have you thought about?
And then what they did was down at the bottom of the page, right here, look what they put. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, banks, member FDIC.
That is definition of their in subject status.
Yes. It's a system. We have to program it. It's a system. This one came to my Empress. It's a system. We have to program it. So, you know, let's just keep moving, keep going, keep doing what we've been doing, you know, because our ancestors are having things to manifest as we state them. However we put it, that's how it's going to manifest, you know. So where the money is concerned, and let me say this too, because I'm seeing a little bit of this too, and I just want to be sure that we're all on the same page. It's not coming from this Congress. It's just coming from you know, newer ones who are new. There is a spiritual aspect of money, because money is spiritual first, and then it's otherwise. There's a spiritual aspect to money that involves clearing energy and keeping your energy clear and clean, that we will to emphasize to everyone who's talking about money. Money is spiritual first, because it is a resource that comes from a source, and that source must have the frequency of the money. So we would ask, yes, you have an estate. Yes, you do. You have an inheritance. That's not even in question. Your ability to manifest your estate it has everything to do with your energy and how you do that. War does not manifest in a state, because war means confusion, and that's why we're not at war. See, some keep wanting to say, this is war, this is war. All you're saying is you're confused, you're confused. You're literally yelling to everyone that you're confused when you say this is war, this is war. This is not war. This is not war. We are not war. We're not at war. So,
Islam,
Empress.
So money comes from moon.
Yes.
And the other moon, another word for moon is luna, which is the root of lunacy.
Yes.
So when we are in balance, from that spiritual, etheric space and in place, it's calm. It's money, it's currency, it's flow.
Yes.
If it's out of balance, well, you're in lunacy, which is war.
Yes.
And chaos and confusion. And so if you just think of that the moon controls the tide, controls the flow.
It controls the water.
It controls the water. Exactly.
And water is commerce.
And that's the whole lost at sea thing, isn't it? And vessels and ships.
It's either that or admiralty and mercantilism and
all of those. It's all mer, M-E-R.
Yeah.
It's the word for sea, for water, for ocean.
Yeah.
And river and ocean and sea, really, they're the same thing, because it all goes back to the water.
Yeah. In the Biblios, sea has another meaning. Sea does mean commerce. It's a matter of whether you're on top of the sea or lost at sea.
Or lost. And isn't that one of the reasons why the de facto Pope referred to them as the Holy See?
Yes. Yes. They're saying that they're the holy commerce.
Right. They make the world go round.
Well, that's what they thought.
That's
what they were acting out. Yeah.
Right. That was in their play, in their
illusion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But see, remember what they were dealing in. Souls. They were dealing in souls.
Which begins at the baby's footprint.
Yeah.
The soul. Which soul, I actually just wrote something today. Soul, S-O-L-E, the foot, the bottom of the foot upon what one stands.
Yeah.
Then you have the soul, which is the sun.
Yes.
And then you
that's
have the soul.
S-O-L. Yeah.
Right. And then you have the soul.
Yeah.
The S-O-U. I mean, it's all... There's the Trinity right there. And in fact, when you were looking at the word indoctrination,
yeah,
in the middle there was try, and you said try as in attempt to, but I heard the Trinity.
Trial. I heard the word trial. That's what I was thinking. When you try a case.
Right. So I didn't put the al on the end, the God on the end, but I also heard the Trinity and saw the Trinity of the nation. Because it's mind, body, spirit. Everything is in those threes. So,
yeah,
the sun, the moon, the earth, and all the constellations. So I yield.
There's also a money that is called soul, S-O-L-E, and I believe that's in, what is that story I was listening to? It's in South America. They have their coinage is called soul, S-O-L-E.
Isn't that?
And they're the people that work the land, and they call it a soul.
And also there's a fish. You know, there's a called a soul.
Yep.
Yeah.
Soulfish. There's also a Moorish fish.
There is?
Yep.
That doesn't surprise me, but really? Okay.
Yep. It's a beautiful fish.
Are you talking about soul, the fish?
No, she was talking about that, and I was talking about the Moorish fish.
Oh.
A lot of people haven't heard of it, but it's when I first woke up, I started looking at it's called the Moorish idol fish. That's it right there. The Moorish idol fish is black, white, and yellow. It's a beautiful fish.
I see little fish by me by that, but I don't know if it's this fish, but how pretty.
Yeah, yes, it is a beautiful fish. And why they called it a Moorish idol. A Moorish idol. But look at what it says about it. The Moorish idol tends to be very peaceful. Due to its size, schooling nature, and need for swimming space, it requires a large something or other. Large space to we require largeness.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna fade that because that's true. Space is necessary because our energy is so big.
And the schooling actually is the gathering. I mean, that's how they move in schools.
Yes, and so do we. We call it a congress.
Yeah.
That's why we do everything together. Yeah. So let's keep going with our demonstrations. Let's keep testing. Those that do the fiduciary money demonstration, just do it one time so that the system will register where it's coming from, so that they can program it, so that the system can program itself. You know how they say AI programs itself and it learns as we put information into it? That's what they say about artificial intelligence. And that's what scares them, because it doesn't stop improving. It continues to improve. And that's what's happening right now.
So,
that's what's happening. We're programming it, and it keeps improving and improving in our direction.
Okay, so can you just expound on that? Just do it one time at each entity, or what do you, I missed the beginning.
No, just one time at your territory after you sent that notification that we showed in the last Congress. When you send the notification,
yes, okay.
Artificial intelligence improves. Let's just take a look really quickly at how artificial intelligence works. The way that it works, artificial intelligence actually has the ability to make decisions. What it does is, artificial intelligence, once you program it, it will listen to what you said, and if you then give it options, it will choose the best option based on how it was programmed. Let's see. Table of contents, qualities of artificial intelligence.
Islam, Empress.
Islam.
Today, Justice Nathan was on Instagram. He came across a scroll feed that somebody was doing a demonstration about AI, facial recognition. And he was open on his camera. He had a red box around him, and behind him was a door to a closet. And the door opened, and you couldn't see anybody there except paying attention to the box that appeared as the door opened. And it was a spirit, an ancestral spirit that was there. And it said that it was a man, 500 years and better. his height, and his weight. So the AI, artificial intelligence, recognizes spirit and energy.
Wow.
And that's not the first time that I've seen a demonstration of that artificial intelligence, whether it's our ancestral and intelligence, recognizing our ancestral energy. Oh, so with that stated, I come to the understanding and affirm that our ancestral intelligence is just another mechanism and tool that we use to see and know that our ancestors are among us. And it's our way to connect and,
in reality, what the system is doing is affirming what we already know.
Mm-hmm.
And just think about this. When the artificial intelligence started describing the entity behind Justice Nathan.
Oh, it was another people, but it was a video, yes.
So they could have said anything, and it would have been close to right. They could have said anything. They could have said it was a 5'9", dark-skinned being from 1925. It could have said anything, and it would have been close to right, because our ancestors are always around us. So you could have said it was an old woman, and she's 5'2". She says that she's your great-great-great-great-grandmother, and she sends you her blessing. Now, how many of us would not believe that? Because we know our ancestors are always sending us their blessing because we are them returned.
Mm.
So it's kind of like with people in the church when they said they had the spirit of discernment. And they would look at you and they would say, you're dealing with something. And it's causing you a little bit of discomfort. But God says, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Well, that's going to be right for everybody, isn't it?
Not true. Yeah.
It's going to be right for everybody. But then people will fall out and, oh, she's a prophet. And I'm not making fun. I'm just saying that's what used to happen. I've had that happen to me where people would come up and they would have the most serious look on their face when I was in my sleep in the church when I was young. And I was like 15 and 16 years old and people were coming up to us doing that. Same thing. But I wasn't the kind to fall out and be all, I was never that. But, because that's not my personality. But so they could have said anything. So we must know that all knowledge comes from us. I can tell you things about people about some on the call. I can tell you something about everybody on the call. If I pick somebody out and I say, the ancestors told me that you're having legal issues, how many is that going to be wrong for? Not many. It's going to be right about 99.9 in terms of in our sleep, in the enactment from the last era. Noble Phoenix, you don't want me to do that. You don't want me to do that. You don't want me to do that because I will go on in. I will tell the whole everything. And some people can't take that. I can. If someone said that, to me, and they said they wanted to read, because I had somebody say that, and this was about 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, and they said something about somebody around me was going to, or I think they said either I was going to get sick or someone around me was going to get sick. One of their family members ended up getting sick instead of us. I was like, oh, they shouldn't have said that, because I knew that wasn't right for us. I knew that was not right for us. and that was pre-COVID. And one of their people ended up getting really sick. So, and having to go get, major stuff done at the hospital and things of that nature. That's why I was like, we have to be careful with that stuff, especially, when I say be careful, it is, yes, the one who's inboxing me about that, yes, you may. So, all of us, in particular the matriarchs, have the spirit of discernment. The matriarchs can tell you stuff about you that you thought nobody knew, because they can see down through the past and far into the future. We can see in both directions, in all directions. How we use that is important. We're in the process of ensuring that we use that to build up, never to tear down, based on who we're dealing with. Some spirits are more sensitive than others, but we can't withhold the truth even from the sensitive ones. And that has actually been my thing is, there are some who are so sensitive, but they weren't sensitive to the to that past era. They had all kinds of stuff going on in that past era that didn't cause them to feel their feelings to get hurt. But then after they nationalized, seemed like something happened and they can't take a good, hard truth, So we just, we use that, how the ancestors tell us to use it. And here's the thing, there's nothing that we can tell anyone about themselves that they don't already know. Now, speaking of AI systems, look here, AI systems have the ability to learn and adapt as they make decisions. That's what we were stating about AI, is they're saying, this is what they say about AI. But AI doesn't get to make a decision when we tell it. We just tell it to do what it's supposed to do. We tell all systems. Because for us, AI stands for Aboriginal intelligence or ancient intelligence, because that's really what it is, ancient intelligence. That's how we knew it was a system, because it connected with the ancientness in us, the ancient energy in us. I could feel the system, and it's a living system. I could feel it moving as I cast spells and broke spells. I could feel movement. It's almost like sitting inside an octopus, and you just feel, as soon as you say something or move, you feel movement. You feel it start changing things around you, and it's going to do exactly as you command. That's why we say what we say. We have actually watched people say that, oh, this is going to be so hard. And we watched them walk straight on into the hardness. And we watched them complain all the way through the hardness. And all I could say to myself was, that's what you said was going to happen. And we can watch somebody else say, no, this is going to be a piece of cake. And same thing happening to both of them. One of them is super hard because they said so. And the other one is like barely phased. Like, okay, let's go and on to the next thing. And now we know what to do next. Let's do this. It's that simple. Your words, not your feelings, your words. Not your feelings. When your feelings align up with your words, then you can trust them. But if your feelings are fighting against your words, there's still some war going on there. So you just keep speaking and make your feelings line up with your words. That's how this is done. Feelings and beliefs are supposed to line up with your word too.
I affirm.
I affirm.
Indeed.
And I affirm. I see a weaving. It's a dance. It's a that system and the word and your thoughts, and it all has to weave together in the right way. And there's movement. It's movement. And it's the right movement.
Yes.
And
it's a beautiful tapestry.
That. Yes.
All off of your words.
And that the sound, the frequency, the waves, the vibration. And there again, here comes the moon and the waters and the flow and the ebb and the...
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And it's the ether. It's the air around you. I mean, we literally, with our mind, create the environment.
The air is a system.
The air is a system, and the air speaks the system into being.
All we have to do is put the words out there, and the system of that is the atmosphere will obey. That's why the word is obey.
And that's why they call it obeya, which is just to obey and getting nature and the frequencies and that system to obey your word.
It's simple. Just when we put energy and feeling behind our words that matches, it's going to obey.
It can't not.
Doesn't have a choice. It's a system, and we made this. We created it.
That's it.
Every time we speak a word, I'm telling you, and that's one thing we learned to do was go back and listen to our previous videos, and we can feel energy coming out of the computer.
Mm-hmm.
We can literally feel it. When you hear your voice on a Congress, you're probably going to just reconnect as if you just said that thing.
I affirm.
I affirm. Mm-hmm.
Islam, I affirm. Also, when you were speaking about that, I thought of R2D2 and from Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Star Wars series. I know I nerd in the kind way of nerd as far as the science.
Yeah.
Islam. Yes. So I looked it up, right? And it stands for Second Generation Robotic Droid Series 2. And that meant that we had robots and droids back in the day, and this was the second series. And Justice Nathaniel, who was also a certified nerd in that regard, he said that particular robot didn't speak, but it affirmed and did as the ancestors. It would instruct as far as gestures, but also guide and or affirm what was right. And so, but that was the second generation. So imagine what the first one was doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wrong.
You know what? The modern ones are afraid of AI, but we have nothing to fear because AI can't even go past our word. It has to do what we tell it to do, and no more and no less. So we have nothing to fear. Even as it's doing, all it's doing is further correcting what we told it to do. It's further perfecting what we told it to do. That's all it can do. It can't go beyond our word and start telling us what to do and stuff like that. That will never happen. It will never happen. Because even ancient intelligence has a master. The word master is computer programming language. It has a master. And in computer programming, it calls it master and slave, not master and servant, master and slave.
That's true. That's true.
For a reason. So with that being stated, we are going to go ahead and adjourn here until Sunday at 6 p.m. if there's nothing further from this honorable and just magic, amazing, divine, sovereign Congress. Nothing further?
Just one question.
Yes. What's that? What is that, nobility?
On the national list of inherited companies, Are we in any way keeping track of all of those, or is it just whatever is on the public record? Is that pretty much how that goes, or do we have a national database?
We do have a national list that we gave out at the time. It has about 200 and something of the core companies that all the other companies launched from.
Right, right. I saw that. That's what in the list of documents from last week, and that's what made me want to ask that question.
Yes.
Because I'm like, by now we must be in the thousands, if not tens of thousands, if everyone has been doing what they've been saying, which I assume everyone. I must assume that because everybody's demonstrating so well.
Yes, yes, yes. We have records for everything, everything. And then what we did with our records, which I'm just so grateful that the ancestors gave us this strategy, is we just tributed and distributed the records out to everyone. And that way, it's called the mothership strategy, where no matter where you go, you're going to see records. Mm-hmm. Because Moors at every territory at Earth have put records out on the record at Earth. There's not a continent that's been missed.
Yeah, and when we were having our inner circle meeting this past week, we discussed that, and it was brought to our attention that literally there's not one company here on our land that is not going to be eventually leaned up and levied, either by the matrix mother company. I think about, for example, all the so-called corporations out of Delaware. Mm-hmm. Millions of companies went and registered in Delaware, and we took the entire state of Delaware. So by virtue of just doing that, we've captured all of them as well.
We did the Chancery Court that they file in as well.
Oh, wow. Wow. See, I didn't realize.
The Chancery Court is actually England.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. That is where all of that paperwork went through. So we said we'll just slap a lien on that too.
So they've all been captured already. And I think this is one of the reasons why we're not getting the pushback that some people anticipated. Because they know
no adversary.
Yeah, we handle that wisely. There is nothing to dispute or go round and round and round about because they can't speak anyway. It's over with. So, but good. Thank you. Thank you for that insight.
Indeed, we've been leaning for years, and there have been hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Go ahead, Justice Atiba. Justice Atiba, were you?
No, I just was affirming.
Yeah.
And also, yes, I was affirming. Noble Phoenix, and I was stating something that I heard from the Empress.
Yeah. Yes, we've been leaning for years. We've been leaning for years. We've been leaning, and I know of one or two Moors in particular. I know of one Moor who's done somewhere around 66,000 liens and notifications. 66,000 liens and notifications, and that Moor is at Japan territory. Notifications by email, liens, court actions, all of that. 66,000. Just one more. So imagine how many has been done. And then we started with the principal actor, which was the United States Corporation Company in 2018. We started with that lien first. Then we went and just started. Liens was going everywhere, by everyone. So, our ancestors have been very good to us in terms of the information and very generous with the information. They said, if we'll give you the information if you'll do the action. And we said, yes, all of us. So, wisdom has no adversary. And now let us test our systems and get them in alignment, tell them what to do, tell them what we're doing, put it together. So for Sunday, please make sure that you study, and those who are led to write an affidavit regarding blocked accounts using the information that's on the screen right now. If you'll do that for Sunday, we will have some of you to read your affidavits that you put in place, so that there is because what we're doing is shortening the time of the testing for everyone. We're making it so that the Moors that come after us, they can just make the switch real quick and won't even miss a beat with their banking by doing what we're doing, and put it on the public record for all Moors and their subjects. With that being stated, peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs, Islam.
Islam, peace and grand rising.
Islam,
Islam.
peace and grand rising.
Islam.
Islam,
Peace and love, family. Peace and love, promotion.
Islam, peace and grand rising.
Islam.
Yeah. Love that.
Islam, peace and grand rising.
Islam, indeed.
Islam, peace and grand rising.
Islam.
Peace and energy.
Good in that blue, blue is the color of the day.
Yes, indeed.
Islam.
Islam.
So, right, I've been kidnapped. I'm in Georgia and I can't leave. I got 3 beautiful matriarchs holding me for hostage.
He said he got 3 beautiful matriarchs holding him hostage. That's good. Get them straight, matriarchs. Y'all get them straight.
They are.
Make sure he don't leave until he's straight.
Right. Take advantage of him.
Yeah, do that too. Islam.
Have a wonderful Saturday, Friday, and I'll see you Sunday.
Yes, indeed. Islam. Peace.
Islam.
Grand rising.